So, I wonder kung ano yung Faces Void dito in terms of priority for both teams. Magre-risk pa ba or kukunin ba ng SEO tong Faces Void? Or will the Eagles make use of it on Prince yet again? Kasi alam naman nila na SEO, they don't really, or they haven't been winning with the Void.
Actually, naalala ko nung I think nakas ko rin yata yung last time na nagharap ng dalawang team. Naalala ko nun parang na-deny, I mean, hindi naman na-deny, parang STIE Olympians was able to get their hands on the Faces Void. Kaya parang no choice yung side ng Eagles. I mean, no choice yung side ng ng Eagles pa, sorry, baliktad. Ang nakapick nung ng Faces Void is yung Eagles. Parang hindi nila binigay. Parang okay, alam namin yung parang flavor hero mo. So, kami kukuha niya. Hindi namin siya ibaban, pero ipipick namin against you guys. Parang ganun yung ginawa nila last time.
Another hero na sobrang utilized din dito across both teams, yung mga position 4 nila sobrang strong on that tiny, and of course yung mga 5 din nila very favorable towards that snapfire position 5. So getting taken out very early on yung priorities nila, siguro they just want to secure farm for their respective offlaners and safe laners na.
Pero ayun nga, di ba? Actually, Tiny din isa sa mga parang favorite hero din ng Eagles, di ba? Hero has been playing a monstrous game whenever he gets his hands on the Tiny. Pag napick sa kanya, automatic, you can expect him an early blink dagger. Actually, maski wala pang ang blink, he can just roam around the map, helping his teammates. Naalala ko may time na parang may na-chrono yung core nila, then ginawa niya, so my step lang, tinos out yung teammate niya palabas ng close. That was, wow. Amazing na big plays coming from the position 4 player, which is nga si Hero.
So, and apart from that, securing those runes talaga is helping yung mid laner actually do their job well, controlling the tempo of the game. Nakaka-assist ng maayos dito yung mga position 4, both for the side of the Eagles and the Olympians. So, rotational, yung mga heroes na mahilig gumalaw, mahilig gumala, Mirana, Tiny, Earth Spirit in a sense din. These are mga heroes na sobrang efficient sa playstyle ng SEO and Eagles. Or yung playstyle of everybody sa National. Basically. So, right now, Vengeful Spirit. So, very nice. Walang Bat Rider because they banned it out. So, one more positioning hero in the Vengeful Spirit. Yung aura din is also going to be very strong. We might see something that makes use of the Vengeful aura sa draft na
10 seconds remaining.
Tsaka marami ka na pwedeng ma-employ na strategy whenever you get Vengeful Spirit on your first pick. You can either go for the second pick draw or pwede mo i-play around with a different hero. Tapos nandiyan na rin papasok yung mid-game, yung early to mid-game strat. Pwede kang mag-chen din at the same time. Then parang parang mind games na kagad to sa opponents mo na okay, nag-pick sila ng bench. So, magda-draw ba to? Kasi alam naman natin kung gaano ka-powerful yung yung bench and yung draw na strat. Pero sagot din ng SEO, they'll just gonna go for the Mirana. Interesting, okay?
10 seconds
I mean,
remaining.
nagko-combo din naman talaga itong dalawang to, the Vengeful Spirit and the Mirana. And both very annoying to deal with in lane, no? Also, yung Roshan potential is also very good just amongst these two heroes. Pero yun nga, STIE Olympians, they don't want to deal with that or with yung double threat of the Moonlight Shadow plus the swap or Magic Missile into the arrow. They don't want to deal with any of that. So they decide to take it for themselves. Anyway, maganda naman na disengage. Meron kay Mirana if ever he does get... pero Mars pick from Eagle. So another good combo with Avenge.
Yeah, tandaan nyo guys, Venge Aura provides additional attack damage on the heroes na sakop ng aura niya. Then ito pa yung Mars. Imagine, one big team fight. Magpapop yung Mars ng Arena of Blood. Nahuli pa maski at least 1 or 2. Nandun yung damage kagad ng Mars. May God's Rebuke din yan. Physical damage din yan. Actually, na-amplify nga actually nung ng right clicks din nung coming from the Venge Aura. So meron na kaagad sila pang start ng fight, may pang disengage din, or they can even swap in yung nasa labas nung Arena of Blood. So, okay. Hindi naman All right.
Yeah, so they do pick up the Faces Void. So combos pretty well with the Mirana. But at the same time, I think medyo limited yung options nila dito when it comes to having the position 5 for this Void. So kung sino yung lane partner niya, they could choose to go for something aggressive. Pwede silang mag-Ogre Magi still in the pool. Clockwork as well still in the pool. They can play very aggressive if they have that. Pero eto sa side naman ng Eagles, I think they can put Mars onto a different position, not necessarily off lane, no? We've seen Mars mid, we've seen Mars quattro. So yung pwedeng mangyari dito is they can still commit into something na magdi-disrupt ng Void during the
10
Chronosphere. And in
seconds
fact, it doesn't have to be core. Pwedeng Oracle is still in the pool. Alam naman natin, the
5
Eagles
seconds remaining.
heavily favor that hero for yung position 5 player nila.
Tsaka ano rin
Radiant team
parang
back.
di ba, minsan mahirap din mag-void. Whenever you go for the big chrono, yung target mo, pwedeng mas-swap out lang eh. So, nandun pa rin yung save mechanism ng ng Eagles. Well, halimbawa, yung mid laner nila, mali natin kung squishy ba siya or even yung carry nila matrap sa chrono. Easy swap out
10
lang eh.
seconds remaining.
Parang alam mo yun, parang okay, medyo risky pero still,
5
nandiyan pa rin
seconds
naman yung
remaining.
parang maliit na follow-up for the faces
Dire
point na
team
chronosphere.
back.
Nandiyan yung Sacred Arrow nga, di ba? Tapos may leap pa para ma-amplify yung attack speed. Pero other than that, this time, hindi pa natin alam. Marami pa pwedeng i-combo rito eh. May invoker pa, open pa invoker dito sa sa draft. Pero yung binan nila rito, Magnus, which is magbe-benefit
10
din naman yung
seconds
Faces Void, di ba?
remaining.
Empower, so para ma-amplify din yung yung farm ng Void.
5
Pero
seconds
yung Mars,
remaining.
yung Mars din kasi men, no, nag-agree din ako sa'yo eh. We've seen a lot of teams na ina-adjust nila yung Mars. Di ba, mid, off lane, support, maski 4-5, we've seen that a lot of times right now.
Yes.
Pero question lang, how will you make, or paano nyo mapagana yung ganong klaseng strat? Yun lang.
Yeah, sa side ng Eagles, I think banning the Magnus was right because pwedeng gawin ng SEO Olympians na dito is run a very greedy Magnus draft eh. And alam naman natin kung sino talaga yung gagamit ng Faces Void. So he's gonna make use of that empower. He's gonna feel really good about that. So they decide to take it out of the pool. So SEO Olympians dito, they're stuck with a few options na lang for siguro their mid laner. They can go for either yung Queen of Pain, sila na pool, and yung Invoker nga, of course, which nakita na natin, they decide to ban out yung Void Spirit themselves. So, there's a number of heroes na Void Spirit doesn't completely work against, so doesn't win the lane against the mid, and they might be hoping
Oh, like you mentioned. As
Yep,
you
kaya nga
predicted.
sabi kanina.
Yeah.
Ogre Magi. And this combos pretty well with the Mirana early on din. Like, if may mahuli lang siyang Fire Blast na in a lane kung saan siya pupunta, that Mirana with the arrow is gonna be following up very nicely. And speaking of follow-up, maganda din yung follow-up dito from the Eagles going for Lina. Kukombo siya sa Vengeful Spirit and the Mars, of course, Light Strike Array.
10
And
seconds
also, it
remaining.
kind of secures a nuke up against Faces Void. If ever mahuli nyo yung Void, don't
5
give him time to time.
seconds remaining.
Do not give him the time of day to time walk. Do not let him cast that Q. Kasi yung mangyayari dito, if you have Laguna Blade up and disable yung Void, chances are manunuke down niya siya agad.
And there's a lot of setup then for the side of Eagles, di ba? Yung Light Strike Array nung nung Lina, may pang set, pwede set up nga yung Spear or even yung yung bench nga lang pang setup pero Beastmaster pick. I think pinik na lang nila to eh kasi good din to sa lineup ng ng Eagles sa nakikita ko rin. If they can play around with the Mars, they have the option to go for the Beastmaster din, di ba? Pag na-chrono, it's either it's gonna be, may swap na, pero pwede rin nila, may choice din sila na to roar yung Faces Void. Since yung roar ng Beastmaster din pierces, di ba, spell immunity. Or, kaya, invulnerability. So, okay din tong lineup na to ha. They have the lockdown, pero nakukulangan ako dito, correct me if I'm wrong, yung burst damage from the Olympian squad.
Dire team
I feel as though yung magandang pick sana ng E-Olympians dito was going to be that Lina eh. Kasi kukombo siya to everything na meron sila, no? And I think na-force na sila to take that Beastmaster because yun nga, nakakatakot pa rin yung threat na kung saan mo ilalagay yung Mars dapat.
Radiant team back.
So, yun, they decide to pick up on the Beastmaster kasi it's still cohesive naman sa draft nila. Medyo may kulang nga sila sa burst in terms of burst damage, pero I think they're trying to make up for it by focusing siguro more on the attack speed side of things, no? Bloodlust from the Ogre Magi, Inner Beast galing kay Beastmaster dito. So, with
10
both the
seconds
Ogre Magi and
remaining.
Beastmaster providing attack speed, yung Faces Void nyo dito can focus a bit
5
more on the
seconds
damage
remaining.
side early on siguro. You might see him go for a
Dire
fast
team
MKB as opposed to yung mga Madness Rusher na usually nagpe-prevail for mga Faces Void pick dito sa the Nationals.
Yeah, grabe nga yung rito, attack speed buff from the E-Olympians. Imagine, they have the leap, they have the Beastmaster na Inner Beast, tapos yung Ogre Magi din na Bloodlust. Grabe yung buff dito sa Faces
5
Void.
seconds remaining.
Yeah. I think nung inisip nila, if ever hindi na pick ng Eagles yung Lina, they might have wanted to take it for themselves. Kasi yung natural attack speed din ng Lina and the very good animation niya makes use of the inner beast and yung bloodlust very effectively coupled along sa kulang nila in terms of burst, because if sa kanila yung Lina, this would have been a well-rounded draft. Pero Eagles, one step ahead, kinuha nila beforehand.
Tsaka imagine mo, one of the supports or even the Beastmaster went for something like a Solar Crest. Grabe sila mag-push dito, or even take Roshan. Tandaan nyo, nakapag-buff yung Solar Crest ng teammate nyo, and it can be used on your allies. Kaya one of the cost-effective items dito sa game, yung medallion pa lang, sobrang goods na di ba? Tapos sa side naman ng Eagles, actually yung lineup ngayon or yung pick ng Eagles dito, kompleto eh. They have the physical burst, they have the magical burst, they have the team fight control din. Kung ako tatanungin mo, men, parang mas goods yung control dito ng ng Eagles. Kasi Chrono lang yung big control nila, then of course yung Roar. Pero once na may mahuli dito yung Eagles, automatic you can be insta-deleted agad sa team fight.
Oo nga, pero I think yung problema dito sa Eagles is as long as may mahuling isa sa kanila, mahirap mag-reposition outside of the Vengeful Spirit swap. Medyo mahirap na mag-reposition That Roar will lock you down through immunity. The Chronosphere as well. And pag wala pa kayong BKB, yung threat ng Arrow and of course yung threat ng Fire Blast is going to be there. And medyo makakite nga lang dito yung Eagles early on. If they don't choose the right fights, may possibility na makakite talaga sila dito.
Yeah,
pero I think they have more burst overall, no? And every one of these heroes has a disable.
Kompleto nga yung disable. Mirana has the Sacred Arrow, Faceless Void has the Time Lock, Ogre Magi has the Fire Blast, Beastmaster of course may Roar, pero Queen of Pain, eto yung additional damage burst. So meaning yung Lina is gonna be played. Oh, okay, ito na yung burst nila. Another hero to go for the burst din after nung Chrono yung follow-up, kumbaga Chaos Meteor, Deafening Blast. Sobrang okay din tong last pick nila. So Cox Invoker
Okay, this is going to be very interesting because yung Eagles may choice sila eh. May choice kasi sila. If mag-go sila with the Invoker or the Queen of Pain. Kasi yun nga, still in the pool eh. So sila yung magde-decide ng second to the last pick, di ba? Mag-Invoker ba tayo? Bibigyan ba natin kay Sai? Or do we choose another hero? So I think the benefit of going Queen of Pain dito is ma-ensure mo na if ever you take a fight with, pag may Orchid na yung Queen of Pain, then it's immediately one man down for the other side, no? And yung ginawa ng SEO dito is no matter kung ano yung ipipick ng LPE, if ever yung LPE naman yung nag-invoker, so yung mag-repick ng Queen of Pain and rely on that malevolent spike din. So I think mid lane going to be pretty even. Yung magde-determine talaga nito is those first few years if ever things go right for the side of SEO.
Tsaka scary din nga as you mentioned, yung Queen of Pain. If she will get something like an early na Orchid less than 12 or 15 minutes, kawawa rito yung Mirana or even the Ogre match. I can easily easy pick off kagad. Pero ito na nga guys, we're going into the game number 1, best of 2 series, and of course this tournament is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board. Shout out sa friends natin sa Gab.
Yep, of course. And now, actually, as we're seeing Game 1 of SEO versus LPE, of the group stages here sa National Season 2 for Dota 2. So, going for the introductions dito sa side ng LPE. Let's go there first since andun na yung camera. Oh, actually, let's just go with SEO. Cox on that mid lane, Invoker. We have Drake on the Mirana, Dem on the Beastmaster, Nando sa kanyang Faces Void, and Dron sa kanyang Ogre Magi.
Of course, and for LPE, we have Prince on this Ben, Rupido sa kanyang Mars, Sai for the Queen of Pain, Hero on the Lina, TMV sa kanyang Vengeful Spirit. So, ayan yung ating lineup for this Game 1. Interesting indeed. Especially when it comes to team fight. Medyo, early to mid-game oriented yung Sven. Pero I don't think yung Sven din naman hindi rin magpapatalo dito sa Faces Void. When it comes to, giving out a lot of physical damage. Yung God Strike niya pa nga lang, alam mo na especially when he gets the Daedalus. Yung pang-crit din, additional damage. Pero maganda dito yung Blood Thorn sa game na to, or even sa Sven. Depende rin sa item choice niya. If he goes for Yung Superman build, yung with the Aghanim Scepter, doon sa kanyang Stormhammer. Sobrang goods nun. Or he might just delay the BKB. Kasi sa pangit, hindi naman ganun kaganda, no? Tingin mo ba tama ba yung opinion ko to na it's better to go for something like an early Ags rather go for the early na BKB?
I think if you're snowballing properly as a Sven, the Ags is very good as an item. Pero, yun nga, it's fully dependent kung ano din yung magagawa ng kalaban. Because like, sa side dito ng SEO, if ever yung Sven mag-Stormhammer in siya with that Aghanim Scepter, may possibility kasi na mabilis na mag-disengage ka SEO. Kasi may Moonlight Shadow sila. They have the Roar to kind of stun you after after jumping in with the Stormhammer. And of course, yung Chronosphere din na pwedeng i-reserve lang din for you especially. So, may mga factors na ganun that make Aghanims a lot better than the BKB, so to speak. Kasi if nag-BKB ka, Stormhammer in, they can just still commit on you anyway. Kasi nag-pierce naman din ng BKB yung Roar dito. Nag-pierce naman din ng BKB yung Chronosphere. So I think Ags is yung HP na need mo, and baka brain actually si Ron.
Yeah, they're diving Ron. And Ron almost died from that situation. Especially Cox is just managing on the mid lane. I mean, palitan lang sila eh. Kanina, we've seen Cox na parang ginamit niya yung mga cold snap just to ensure na made-deny niya. Made-deny niya ng isang creep dito yung Queen of Pain sa mid lane. Pero yung Light Strike Array will miss. Hindi na nga lang tumama yung stun. Pero harassment lang. Yung maganda sa Lina eh. Alam mo yun? Sobrang layo ng range yung attack niya. Then yung spell niya rin, ang layo din ng ranges. Kaya, din talaga to, tandaan nyo, combo to ha. Light Strike Array sa Spear of Mars. Especially when these two guys reach something like level 4. Lalo na level 6, sobrang laking threat na nito set.
Oh yeah. I mean, siguro, even if hindi Spear of Mars yung gamitin nila, kahit like God's Rebuke, kasi hindi naman ganun masyado kalayo yung knockback nun eh, di ba? Like, konti lang yung knockback ng God's Rebuke. So if ever mas light pushback lang, may slow pa yun, mayayari, makukombo mo pa rin sa LSA yun kahit pa paano.
Yeah, true that. Sobrang layo din ng range. Pero ito na naman, Light Strike Array will connect and a Spear of Mars. Do they have the enough burst? Wala, cooldown yung kanyang time walk and Nando full! Alam nila eh, kaagamit lang ng time walk. Level 1 time walk, sobrang tagal ng cooldown. It feels like forever if you're playing the Void.
Yes. Grabe talaga yung stress, like waiting for that next time walk. Alam mo na you can't play as aggressively in lane eh. Alam mo na if ever you get caught out, alam nila, magko-commit sila dahil ang haba sobra ng cooldown ng level 1 time mo. Pero I think they're trying to play very aggressively dito sa top lane. They go for TMD. Got dropped down.
Annoying yung board doon. Actually, yung board yung winner doon eh. Kaya slow down niya na sobra doon yung bench. Kaya umabot pa yung inabot talaga ni Bem. Alam ni Bem na ano eh. Oh, easy to. Kaya ko na i-dive yung tower. I have the enough HP to go for that dive. So, kill secured para yung side ng SEO.
Yep, and at the same time, hindi pa masyadong ma-clear ng Sven yung tricks dito or yung burst ng Beastmaster, no? Kasi there's not a lot of levels in Cleave or Stormhammer na kanyang i-commit pa hitting or casting spells on these boards. So, for the meantime, they'll have to get kited by the Beastmaster.
Which is yung nangyari doon sa top. Yung hindi nga lang tumama, pero look at the hero here. Actually, kino-contest niya, pero top lane, Bem minahabol, mamapani siya rito. One more! Pero nag-healing sa
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Okay. Out of range din kasi Magic Missile.
Very nice play. Pero nasa-force dito na umakit si Drake, which is the position 4 of SEO. So, ibig sabihin, they're gonna have to commit someone else on the rune as 4 minutes na. So, power rune priority here. Sai, will you go for it? Masyadong go siya. It's away. Of course, nakatakot.
Alam niya eh, pwede siya command tornado cold snap eh. Kung cold snap man lang. Pwede siya maseta man doon, naka-double damage yun pa yung Invoker. Nakuha sa Wex build, walang damage yan, pero he gets a double damage rune, so threat pa rin siya in a way.
Yep, and the cold snap will prevent you from blinking away dahil sa mini stun, no? I mean, like, it is at that level. Kasi nga, he's doing the Quasto X build.
Beastmaster, medyo nakaangat siya dito. LSA will miss. Hindi tumama yung Light Strike Array. Pero Ron, still doing his best para ma-clear out yung camp. Sayang, isang XP, pero ito na naman tayo. Ayun na, tumama yung EMP. Sakit! Fairy Fire! 3-second cooldown, yung blink ni Sayo na Queen of Pain. Pero yeah,
Radiant
okay naman, mag-back out pa rin naman siya.
Yep, and he gets the bounty rune din kasi kakaspan na ng bounty rune sa side niya. So easy refill ng bottle. At the same time dito, si Ben hindi na siya masyadong nakakapag-commit sa lane ng Boars. So he's just putting it pulled back dun sa tier 1 tower niya kasi there's enough skill points na sa Stoneham at saka sa Fleet. Eventually, that's the main.
Ito yung sinasabi ko, medyo nalit lang ng konti. Just a second behind. 0.something second. Kung medyo napaaga yun, malamang tumama yung arrow doon.
Yep, as soon as bumaba yung tornado. Pero giving her time to blink away, actually, man, grabe, ang annoying dito. Not getting allowed to time out away yung Dragon King. And it's a Spear of Mars and the Dragon Slave to finish it off. Actually, no, I think it's very interesting dito because we've rarely do we see hero sa heroes like Lina.
Yes.
Oh, mid lane.
Sige, tuloy mo, men. Sige, nahin po ako doon, pero good play. Yung sa bottom lane, na-deny pa nga.
Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower
so,
is under attack.
yung gawa nila dito sa mid lane, they're really shutting down or trying to shut down Sai on this Queen of Pain because alam nila how much of a threat yung power spikes ng Queen of Pain will be. You don't want her to get level 6, you don't want her to get that Orchid. Kahit nga bote is, you want to do everything to kind of stop the Queen of Pain from doing anything.
Just to prevent the Queen of Pain, di ba, na mag-snowball ng maaga. Pero ito, habul. Kaya hindi tumama yung body block. Pero ang ganda nung
May
ano.
taunt pa.
ang ganda nung ano eh. Ang ganda nung combo nila eh. Yung Tornado EMP. Ay, yung Tornado Pulse na pero top lane. Punish yung Sven. Pero sa totoo lang, ano set mahirap din kasi timingin yung ganito kaaga, yung arrow yung sa Tornado. Kasi, di ba, kung mababa pa yung level ng Wex, sandali lang yung duration niya sa Eric.
Oh, yung lift time kasi, it's not that up million. Pero, grabe. Oh, tapos clear though. A little bit off the mark, pero okay na sila dun. Masyadong malaki na yung nabawas sila kay Nando and he's gonna have to ferry a lot of regen. Ito na yung sobrang hassle ng lane against Lina, no? If hindi ka mamamatay, then mapapagastos ka talaga para mabuhay.
Oh my God! With the Dragon Slave, kanina pa si Hero is spamming out his Dragon Slave. Kanina tumama, then ginawa ni Nando ng time walk. Pero yun na naman yung LSA. It won't connect again, pero Lino is going with the rotation. Tornado EMP goes down. Priority kill makukuha nila yung Mars. But Hero survives. Pero grabe pressure dito ng ng LPE sa bottom. No far for you, Nando.
Pero nice rotation coming in from Cox dito, Carl. Kasi like, sobrang utilize niya yung timings niya. Hindi siya nagstay sa mid lane kasi level 6 or actually 7 na ngayon yung Queen of Pain. So not staying at the mid lane, preventing a kill from happening din. Instead, giving the farm to yung Mirana and kaka-purchase lang niya ng Urn of Shadows. So baba niya, TP niya, he gets a kill, so may 2 charges na yung Urn niya. Meanwhile, top lane,
Pataas na yung kamay niya doon. Na-slow down ng boar pero hindi maglalatch doon yung Spear of Mars. Look at the
Dire's
slow
top
from the
tower
boar.
is under attack.
Annoying. Bottom lane naman, they will get that kill for Hero. Kanina ka pa, Hero. I'll take you down. Kanina. It's been super annoying, right?
sobra yung yung Dragon Slave. And siguro, ito pa yung unfinished thought ko kanina. We rarely do we see Hero play yung Hero, the position for play heroes na long range, sobrang hassle in lane. Because usually, gumagala siya nagro-rotate siya We don't see him stay in lane for such a long time. I think this is the longest we've seen him. Pero, play dito, roar into the arrow, another combo hit in, and Rupido goes down.
I'm liking this game, man. Sobrang daming rotation na nagaganap. Walang walang ulti na level 6, level 7 na nasasayang. Kasi once na walang cooldown, they go for their big rotation. Sa ganda pa ng recognition din ng mga support, diba, to follow up with their ults.
Yeah, pero now, Nando actually, there's the threat of yung Chronosphere na. The Chronosphere is up, Nando is just standing in front of this tier 1. Alam niya kung sino man magde-def dito, if ayaw niyo makipag-trade, then magko-chrono ako. May Necronomicon units na si Bem dito. I think Necro level 1, working on the second level. So the pushes are just going to come very easy. And of course, may aura din, yung Necro unit for bottom lane.
May Laguna Blade, no? The Verifier!
Actually, healing up a lot kasi sobrang low na ni Ron. And Still level 5, wala pa siyang offside. You commit onto this. Cream of paint, finish the
Dire's
job.
middle tower is under attack.
Ron was like, I mean, Hero was like doing the Steph Curry thing eh. Yung, alam mo, pagkatira na shot, wala na, nilalilingon. Nakala niya would finish off the ogre. Pero very fire pa. Plus the regen din, of course. Pero ito na yung ano eh, ito na yung power ng ano eh, ng lineup ng SEO. Yung push nila. Max na inner beast yan with the Necronomicon. May buff pa si Nando na pwede from the ogre din, yung Bloodlust.
Masyado mahirap pa mag-commit ng wave clear dito from the side of LPE. Yung Lina nyo is going to be mana starved kasi 4 nyo to eh. At the same time, yung Queen of Pain dito, you only have the Scream of Pain. Dapat nyo lumapit.
And they will go for the roar as well. Wala nang money. Eventually, will fall. May mahabol pa ba? Wala na silang mahabol dito. Pero at least they were able to get a tower plus a kill. Sobrang good stuff for the side of for the SEO squad.
Dire's top tower is under
But
attack.
actually, are they going to be looking for
Radiant's bottom
a
tower
return
is under
dito?
attack.
Any kind of trade? Kasi yung only trade na nagawa nila yung sa bottom tower lang eh. And right now, they're down 1 tower. I mean, they're down 2 towers RPE. And the SEO control more of the map. In fact, nasa dire jungle na nga sila dito.
I thought they were like going for a smoke. Kasi ba nakita ko yung team na nag-group up na ganyan. Ayun na. Kinuha lang. Hintay lang pala na ubusin yung creep. I mean yung neutral camp. They'll go in the top and I think Seth will gonna have a team fight here. Hindi pa tayo nakakita ng Chrono. Yun na, leave out. Ignite. Nagamit. Magic Spread down. And the Sonic Wave. It will connect. However, may Nato is still here. Nato wants to fight and goes for the big Chrono. Nahuli ang dalawa. Pero there you go. The swap. Pero may EMP. Pero back sa EMP. Still a slow level. Pero okay. Mahuli pa yung Quap. Pero he will be able to blink out. Walang Roar. Roar was still on cooldown at that time. Ginagoods pa rin. Pero anyway, 3-4-1, not so bad. Nasa tower na naman. Ito yung kinaganda ng team fight ng ano eh, ng SEO. Whenever they win a team fight, transition ka to objective. However, the fortification nga lang. Ginamit yung clip, so magbaback sila rito.
Yeah, grabe yung aggression actually from the side of SEO. Alam nila na may advantage sila when it comes to push, when it comes to vision. Because again, the Beastmaster provides so much in terms of these factors, no? Yung push nyo, you've got Boars, you've got the Necro if it's within your build, and of course yung Inner Beast. But at the same time, you can also summon a Hawk for that vision, no? So anytime that you guys feel like you want to start a fight, mag-scout ka lang gamit yung Hawk or maghanap kayo ng straggler with that Hawk.
Kaya maski mayroong swap dun yung Venge, parang, alam mo yun, hindi pa rin naging enough. Talo pa rin sila sa team fight. Pero ginawa rin ni Cox. Kinuha niya yung creep wave para sure na papasok agad o makukuha nung creep nila yung aggro agad ng tower. Hindi na nga mapapansin, pero wala silang Chrono rito. Chrono is down. They still have the Arena of... Arena of Blood is still on cooldown, however. Pero look at the damage. Naka-alacrity pa rito yung Invoker ni Cox. And they can do a fake here as well.
I think panakot lang tong Moonlight Shadow na to eh. They want to force LPE to respond sa pressure nila dito sa top tier 2. Now, actually, I think hanapin nila dito yung Sven. I think they want to look for Prince. And just in time, as that Observer Ward, nahuli siya sa Observer Ward dito. Pero, Ron already breaks the smoke.
Alam na ako, ganda side step. Pero may Fire Flash. Na Fire Flash, cold stop na dyan. Where's the follow-up? Arrow!
Malor!
With a stop. Not more. Nothing yung break. Pero wala. Why did the break? Here goes the Arena of Blood. The Spirit Force will connect on the Invoker. And Invoker will also fall with the Mirage. He's not back to the Ghost Wolf. And papasok dito yung kanilang Nato na LSA. But he will still time walk out. Will they still continue on the aggression? And they will. They want PMB. Walang time lock. Hindi ito mamay. Walang time lock.
Size na tier! Walang tatapos. Walang makakatapos ng kills nila. Sai wasn't there to clean up the rest eh. Walang Sonic Wave, wala kayong extra damage, and you still lose your Sven. You do trade kills for it, pero SEO are just showing na they can and they're not afraid to show up on your side of the map and try to contest all of the farm that you're getting. Although hindi pa ganun kalaki yung lead nila in terms of net worth or last hits, makita natin the map is actually, as long as they sit together and as long as meron sa kanila yung cooldowns nila, or as long as they have their cooldowns, yung mangyayari is that they can just aggressively pursue any part of the map that LPE is on. Given LPE is also a bit split up.
Pero maganda item pick up dito ni Hero. Hero already has the Ether Lens. So kung kanina nakita niya sobrang layo nung cast radius nung spell niya. LSA! Tuntong sidestep naman nun. They have the vision. Nahuli pa nga dito si Hero with a cold snap. And easy kill na lang to for SEO. Dominating na nga si Bev. Sobrang annoying no slow.
Not inner beast plus the alacrity making the invoker hit so fast and like a truck actually. Pero dito no, I think they want to just give away yung top tier 2 nila. Wala silang mga go to defend. They don't have a glyph to commit kasi na-commit na nila. And SEO very mindful of this. Kasi na-force na nila yung glyph kanina. They know na, okay, for 5 to 7 minutes hindi nila pwede gamitin to. Mangyayari dito is if i-force natin kasi they've no way to defend. Unless i-force nila na that we have a fight there. And if ever, mag-moonlight shadow tayo, may disadvantage tayo. We have a bonus spear and now I think they just want to take over.
Mabilis lang to. Inner beast, alacrity. What can you ask for? Invoker already has Spirit Vessel. Good against the Mars, even sa Svenden at the same time. And I don't think they have any info na nagro-roshan dito yung side ng SEO. No. Hold that. They went for a smoke 4-man. I think they do have the idea, but way too late. Nakuha ni Roshan, they'll just back out.
Yep, Nando with that Aegis and the Chronosphere as well. So both very threatening as this team, this 5-man of SEO rush down the mid tier 2. And wala pa rin silang blink ha.
Oh no!
Kai
Okay.
does get a successful blink away naman. He'll be fine, but I don't think this tier 2 will be.
Nakita ko si Drake na nagmamadali with the lead. To follow for the arrow sana. Pero wala eh. Isang cold snap lang. Then wala nang follow-up na hit kaya hindi na-cancel yung animation ng attack.
I think may nahanap sila dito. Carl, Prince?
Kasi
Oh, the arrow!
Are scanning.
A little bit off the mark. I mean, off the mark, not just by a little bit. But Trick, at least, you know, they make use of that vision, they know it's Ben, or they make use of that information. Alam nila na wala na yung Sven dun. So they can just try to pressure this bottom lane there. So that they deny yung ancient from Sven.
tsaka yung mid tower dito ng ng SEO is well defended. Konti minimal damage pa lang yung ibibigay nila, pero yan MLS kinumit nila, pero they do have a sentry there. So I think they know, alam ng Eagles na naka-MLS sila doon. Kaya naping sila eh. Piningga agad na naka-MLS daw. Spotted na siya rito ni TMV.
Pero there's 4 people here from the side of SEO.
Na-slow down siya with the arrow. Oh no. No chance for TMV on that situation. Mega kill na nga si Ben.
Nice micro.
Radiant's top tower.
He didn't use the chrono for the Queen of Pain, ha?
Pero I think very timely use yung nangyari dito sa side Rekay, no? As soon as nakauna siya, nag-blink siya. Maybe that's why he was able to survive. And right after, wala sigurong batch, he was able to blink away. So, nice usage naman. They only lose this tier 1, I think, is gonna go down. Sa side naman ng LPE, they just use the bench. Though Chrono was committed, may Aegis pa din eh. Kaya nakita na, oh actually,
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Invoker got taken down dito. So, one fight I think worked out well for the side ng LPE and LPE. Alam nila walang Chrono. They have the Invoker is also dropped. So, they can decide to finally take yung tier 1 tower. Ito lang.
Uy, tumama pa yung arrow. Pero there's no follow-up.
Radiant's middle tower
Nandun
is
natin
under
ang Chrono.
attack.
Pero finally, tier 1 tower is
Radiant's
down.
middle tower has
Kailangan to eh. Kailangan to guys ng Eagles eh. Unti-unti na nawawalan sila ng map control. They don't have any vision na rin, no? Tingnan nyo. Sobrang defensive na lang yung kanilang vision. Wala na silang mga lane wards. Actually, may lane ward nga rito yung yung SEO sa bottom. Pero instantly pagkabuo yung Invoker dito, they will go for instant smoke. 5-man smoke.
Yep. Eto lang dito, if hindi siya kapansin ng LP actually that this mid lane got pushed by a stray meteor, si Drake nagpakita siya just to erase certain kinds of suspicion from LPE, no?
Wala na, alam na.
So,
Dire's
yeah,
middle tower
they're
is
going
under
to the
attack.
wide. Nando? That time lock!
Sunod!
The RNG is on point there from
Dire's
Nando.
bottom tower
As
is
soon
under
as nag-time walk in siya, the first hit, time walk agad. That's what he needed. That's what SEO needed. So they get a quick and easy kill and tier 2 to boot.
Para sabi ni Naokal, ito may hinahanap mo? Time lock? Ito na. Sunod-sunod eh.
Binigay sa'yo eh.
Threat na to ah.
Dire's middle tower
To think
is
that
under
they
attack.
do have the best
Radiant's
wave
top
clear.
tower is under
And
attack.
they'll not gonna defend. They'll
Dire's
use the clip.
structures are fortified.
Alright. Okay.
Pero yun nga, with Glyph out, this is just another fight that's bound to happen sa tier 2 nyo. Or even later on at
Radiant's
your
top
high
tower
ground
is
again
under
sa
attack.
bottom lane. Pero siguro, let's just say, sa 30-minute mark, if ever they have defensive items aside ng SEO, LPE are not gonna be able to dish out the amount of damage that they could have before. No? Oh, may nagpa-vampire punch dun sa...
Akala ko may kung nakalakad di po pala to. Ina naman! Akala ko may bash.
What?
Oh my god, the place! Kaso wala nang follow-up. Ayun.
We're waiting for the Aegis. We're waiting the Aegis! No!
Natayan eh! Muntik ka na yun! Sakto eh, di ba? Hindi lang tumama yung LSA.
So close! They came so close if that LSA was there. If the Sonic Wave was on time, they knew the timing. They pinged it. They found out when the Aegis was gonna expire, and when it did, they couldn't get the kill when it mattered. Nando surviving by the skin of his teeth there.
Man, yung LSA, muntik na yun. Sakto yung timing nung pagka-reclaim ng Aegis. That was so unfortunate para sa Eagles yung engagement na yun. Set, sayang! Muntik na.
That was a very nice spear. Sobrang ganda ng mga ng skill succession nila. Pero when it did matter, the time walk or he cut off the time walk din at the very end. So Nando, more like Nan don't die.
Nan don't die. Ang aggressive niya pa doon, ano? Knowing na yung Aegis is about to expire.
Pero like,
Radiant's top
this is
tower
just
is under attack.
this is just a waiting game
Radiant
for
structures are
for
fortified.
LPE basically. Mag-aantay lang sila dito na magkamali ulit ng ganun or that level or any core from the side of SEO, and then that's when they can make their move. Kasi right now wala na sila outer tower. 22 minutes in, they've lost all outer towers. They have to stay inside their base.
Pero ito na nga. Akala ko mag-smoke up sila doon, pero apparently just only this. Yung bench na naka-smoke up. May ward daw may vision nila. They'll drop an observer ward. Okay. Nakabang sila. Naka-double
There's
damage rin pa.
Oh, grabe. Pero there's no Moonlight Shadow yet, so I don't think they want to heavily commit on the
Oh, there you go. And they go, no, hinihintay ko. Pero na-use siya agad. Here comes the arena flag. Yeah, they will do it this time around. Laguna plays here. Oh, the bomb! James done everything. 1 point. And they will decimate Nato. This moment is also out. 3 man down. 3-4-1 exchange. It's way to pay.
Nice, I
Melemeles. Pero nandiyan yung sentry. They have the detection. Patay ang apat dito yung set. Well
Beautiful. Beautiful fight coming from LPE there. Hindi nilabas yung chrono eh.
pataas na yung kamay.
So, from Nando, I'm like, Nan, don't chrono. But that's what happened. I think, sobrang grabe yung control ng LPE doon. At that instant na could have used that chrono spear, yun nangyari. He got speared into the tree, and he just got moved down. In fact, makikita natin yan sa replay dito. He could have committed the chrono here, and may DD pa siya, pero he got used right away. Nawala yung DD niya. Controlled by the LSA, and at the back line, Rupido here making so much of a difference, no? Keeping 3 heroes inside that arena. And Sai and Prince just finishing off the work.
Siya, nagawa niya yung trabaho niya. Okay guys, it's time to clean up the mess. Nakapag-arena ako, na-control ko yung players from the side of SEO. Na-spear ko yung pinaka-importanting guy nila. And kayo na bahala. Job well done. Para sa kanya sa engagement na yun.
Yep. Very nice engagement from the side of LPE. They take down 4 and they only lose si Rupido, no?
Yup. Mars lang. Pero kanina, top lane din tinry nung Queen of Pain na Orchid si Bem, pero malis ng kamay ni Bem Nung naramdaman niya agad yung Orchid, he was able to blink out into safety agad. Fast reaction time. Sana all.
Now they know that Roshan is back up, no? Nando with an alacrity, a finished MKB, and the threat of the Chrono Spear is up again. Also may roar na ulit. So, they're gonna have a hard time contesting. Wala na silang outer towers. They have to stay a little bit back inside their own base or on their side of the map. Hindi ko lang talaga sila magawa. They're just gonna stay completely on the opposite side of the map. Sven dito just farming what he can. Kasi the closer he does come to that Aghanim Scepter, the better, the easier life is going to be for LPE because he can just start fights by himself already. Or he can just follow up din sa amount of damage and lockdown na na-output ng teammates niya.
Pero controlling outpost, 15 to 12, 25 minutes dito sa ating game 1. Wala eh. I mean, close game pa rin to guys eh. 1 game, hindi ganun kalaking advantage yan. Even though they have the ages right now, they have the options. Are we gonna farm or are we gonna get? I mean, are we gonna pressure at the side of the Eagles? Pero yun nga, pressure yata yung pinili nila. Nagkukumpulan sila dito sa sa mid lane. Nandun din si Nando trying to clear out yung Asian doon sa triangle part for the dire side. Pero the scan, nakita nila si Nando. Na-scan ng dire, I mean, Radiant set pala, I'm sorry. Ayun na yung time walk, at nagmamadali sila. Pero may nahuli at just the best still. Di ba paano may nangyari?
Yeah. I mean, it does work out for them still. Kasi they get a kill and alam nila kung ano lang yung few options. Pero, blink away.
Maski naka-vessel, naka-invirun pa. And they don't have any detection for that Queen of Pain.
I mean, okay. Yung ginawa dito ng Eagles medyo maganda din. Although, hindi gaano kalinis yung disengage nila kasi they had to give up TMV. It worked out for them then. They were able to get some vision deep sa jungle ng Radiant dito. So, SEO, they have, or LPE has wards in the jungle of SEO. And at the same time din, they allowed Hero to get some farm sa kanyang Lina. So that yung mag-stay relevant pa rin yung damage ng Lina, no? Because like, yung Pagan side mo, yung LSA mo, these aren't as reliable later into the game as yung mga right clicks ng position 4 Lina, ng isang position 4 Lina.
And Nando trying to be aggressive here sa bottom, and he will tank the tower damage a bit. And decides to do a time walk out.
We need to see a Chronosphere card. Hindi na natin talaga makakita ng Chronosphere kasi this is what's gonna dictate the game para sa SEO eh.
But we have seen so far, ilang engagement na naka-cancel out lagi yung chrono ni Nando. Kanina, napakagandang use to cancel anything from the Faceless Void. Pero
actually, Cards, may isa din tayong hindi napansin. Actually, may Aghanims na dito si Cox sa kanyang Invoker.
Sasabihin ko ba rin din, nakita ko kasi sa screen.
So, may cataclysm potential na yung combo dito for the Chronosphere and Array. Yung hindi na talaga namin makakita ng Chrono. In fact, there is a conduct na Caracol Domingo.
But there's the roar, set in, because Arena flat. Sakto lang bigay pinakasin na ito. Nando yung time lock. Sakto na one shot. Tumama ka. The Beastmaster with the Laguna Blade. The control is there. Pero BKB pinakawalan. Gaze will be popped. This is round number 2. Para dito kay Nando. Ay, Nando na kapag tayo mo count siya doon. And, balik the good swap. Balik sa loob. And may MLS Sonic Quick. Tumama and Fred will be taken out. Walang expect, walang mark. And yung bench will spin it. Na even then, TMB also down. Mark will buy back. However, the caster view. Finishing them off. Ang tapo na yun! May follow back, LSA again will be made!
Another use!
And the spear! There you go!
Oh, nice rebuke! Cancel it though! No! They had nothing to cancel, at least nothing in time. Fox does move away, but at the same time, they expend 3 buybacks, 2 on their cores, but LPE still managed to hold on sa nilang bottom racks doon.
I think it still works pa rin naman, no? Kasi hindi sila nakuha na ng racks eh. Yun pa rin yung pinakamalang importante doon.
Yeah, I think it does still work out for the side. Yeah, I mean, hindi na wala yung racks nyo. This venue did not have to buy back. Although nag-expend siya ng BKB charge doon, it was to take out the Aegis from Nando din. So, all in all, I think it's still a successful defense from LPE.
Nagpa-BKB siya kagad. Kaya pala wala nang follow-up for the arrow. Nakakapag na rin si Verana for that. Pero yun nga lang, may engagement na naman tayo. Lina will be taken out. Wala na yung Lina. Nakakuha silang isang good pick-off. Pero Rupido, tandaan nyo guys, kaka-buyback lang dito ni Rupido. So, he needs to be careful. Once na makuha si Rupido dito, dieback yan. Ang tagal nung death timer niya, no spawn timer.
Cox actually staying alive throughout that fight dahil sa clutch cheese. He was about to go down in front of the tier 3 pero nag-cheese pala siya doon. That keeps him alive for the TP out. And now Ron getting very aggressive sa warding niya dito.
Okay.
Eyes without a
Natagalan yung item ni Style.
Oh, yes. Sige, Cubs, go.
Ay, no, yun lang. Sorry, go. Sorry, man. Yun lang sinabi ko. Nakita ko lang.
yung wording kasi dito from SEO medyo mahirap eh. Kasi the more of the map you control and the more of the map na parang need nyo ibigay sa kalaban para mapalabas nyo sila, mas mahirap mag-provide ng vision sa area na dun eh. Especially if like you control so much. So, bale, you have to commit observer wards sa mga entrances ng jungle nila, sa entrances ng jungle nyo, sa mga places where you can still get objectives like yung enemy triangle, the rush pit, and you can only do so much eh. This is why Beastmaster works very well sa mga ganitong lineup. Like as soon as you control space, you have an extra way to provide vision, no? And so far, they're making it work SEO. Pero we have to see better fights from them then if they want to close out this game. Hindi natin makakita ng magandang Chronosphere talaga.
Oh my God. Scotty na rin dito si Nando. Maraming farm niya Nando rin sa game. Arrow will miss. Tumalo na naman aggressively dito si Nando. Pero nakahalak rin siya. At yan. And they're pinging. Yeah, there's the ward there. And they were able to de-ward everything. Tornado. However, tatama lang dito man sa Mark de Rubido. LZ against Mystic. May EMP pa. To zone them out. Pero makukuha naman nila yung rock. This is the big question. Oh my God! The damage! Alacrity! Diba? Baka maka-blink out ka. And the crew number 2! Nakatwing bang! Muni ang dalawa! Oh no! The damage set sa combo! Blinking ang ilaw flat! Into the spear!
What just said?
That's the 10-6 lang! Yung expect nga lang! And the use first the damage! And every time mo balik si Nando, Ellen! Oh! Namatay mo ba? Namatay mo ba? GG na lang kasi! Tinawag na ng Eagles and SEO getting the first win on this Mexico series.
Radiant
Out. SEO, they're very strong showing. 32-minute victory for them. Medyo nahirapan din sila a bit one sieging high ground, pero as long as they got a good fight, and yun nga, they picked off Cyphers, and then a beautiful two-man Chronosphere na sure ka, walang magre-reposition, walang magsasave dahil nahuli din yung Vengeful Spirit doon.
Pero tara, ibaba nila pa rin yung Tiny. No more Tiny on this game. Hindi makakuha ng Tiny dito si Hero. Then, Vengeful Spirit, binanalan din nila kaagad. Wala na yung Venge
10 seconds remaining.
on our game 2. Face's Void is even taken out, so wala na ring Void.
Yep. There's something about Faces Void kasi that makes him function a lot better on the Radiant side. I think it mainly has to deal with sa perspective lang ng map. Because like, if nasa Dire side ka, of course, you're going to be playing, yung push mo is going to be from the right side to the left side. So parang it's not completely natural na maghanap ka ng Chronosphere with an angle like that. There's something naturally nice about AoE spells and playing on the Radiant kasi. I think it's something I'm very curious about. I want to do a study on, pero most definitely I'll try to look into that after this very exciting game too. No? Void Spirit, first pick from the Eagles, and Mirana again for the
10
Olympians.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, of course. I think Mirana is one of the heroes dito sa tournament na
5
may
seconds
high
remaining.
win rate, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the reason why a lot of teams wants to get their hands on this Mirana. And Void Spirit pick, okay. For me kasi, if you're gonna be going for a Void Spirit pick early on, first pick pa, literal, I think you're just baiting your opponents eh. Parang, okay. So we can easily counter this hero. Kasi the first pick sila, madaling counter it. Pero second pick, Snapfire, which is a strong hero din dito sa ating tournament.
Of course, and the fact about Snapfire din is virtually possible to play any position. Hindi lang nga natin nakikita sa 1 or sa hard carry position, but virtually possible to
10
play any
seconds
position
remaining.
from 2 to 5, no? So can be a mid laner, can be an off laner, quattro, pwede din gawing hard support.
Dire team back.
This is what I love about Dota eh. I mean, hindi lang siya parang okay. Parang like before, di ba? Those years na pag itong hero na to, core lang. Pag itong hero na to, support lang. Ito lang mga pwedeng i-offer. Right now, Dota is super diverse na rin na unpredictable in a way, especially when it comes to
10
you know, the
seconds
patches.
remaining.
Before we just have something like 5 bans, then it went to 6.
5
Now we're on
seconds
to 7,
remaining.
which is, I mean,
Radiant
nagbago talaga ng ano
team
eh,
back.
ng
Team
complexity ng game. Ito yung sobrang gusto ko eh. Pero binana rin dito yung Beastmaster. Actually,
Of
Eagles
course.
ngayon nag-ban. Okay, Bem, no more Beastmaster for you. Why? Similar yung draft ng STI Olympia, so nung SEO. They went for the Mirana, then Ogre Magi.
Yep. Well, kasi they couldn't
10
take the
seconds
Void na eh. They
remaining.
banned it out. They realized na it is more priority pick for the side of
5
Eagles kasi nga
seconds remaining.
they're picking first or they're picking ahead of the Olympians. So Void gets banned out and instead yung Ogre Magi yung pick up nila for the second
Radiant
pick. And,
team back.
it still works out. Anun pa rin yung combo na nakita natin earlier on pag nagsistart na or nag-engage with the Fire Blast, mag-follow up agad ng arrow. And of course, Moonlight Shadow is just a tool na sobrang useful din on supports or on
10
even cores that
seconds
are
remaining.
have to get more to kind of be stable or participate talaga in a fight. So,
5 seconds remaining.
Ogre and Marana, not the best duo that the Olympians can pick first, pero it gets the job done.
Ang hirap pa naman ano, kasi yung duration ng Fire Blast, hindi naman ganun yan katagal, especially pag lower level. Pag wala pang multicast, if you don't have the ultimate for the Ogre Magi, swerte yan pa nga, di ba? Chance rate din yung ano, yung multicast eh. Parang yun lang pa, talaga pag nag-hit ng twice or thrice yung multicast na Fire Blast, yun lang madali talaga sobrang setup ng arrow ng Mirana. Pero kung level 1 ng Fire Blast, grabe ka lang sobrang on point nyo, grabe yung connection nyo na dalawa if you're doing this kind of, you know, 1-2 combo na support.
Yeah. And I think SEO Olympians naman, because they have been playing for a while now, throughout the entire season 2 ng National Season, these guys have been playing together. So I think they really brushed up or nag-refine na talaga sila sa chemistry nila. And we're seeing a lot better connections coming from, or like, we're seeing a lot better chemistry coming from their players, no? In fact, sa Game 1 nga, nakita natin yung combo. Cold Snap Tornado into the arrow sa middle lane, which is what shut down Sai in the early game, no?
Medyo sick nga yun eh, kasi early levels ng Tornado, yung airtime duration mo nun, sandali lang, tapos makakareact ka agad dun. Parang alam mo na kagad yung timing. Well, of course, matagal lahat naman tayo, matagal na nagdo-Dota, kaya pakiramdaman eh, alam mo na eh. Alam, di ba, alam mo yung feeling na yun? O, ito na yung babagsak na. You know that feeling eh, pag
5
babagsak na yung
seconds
kalaban.
remaining.
If you're playing that, you know, way too long, those years of playing this game, alam mo na eh, pero still, that's a hard combo rin to go for the arrow.
Definitely kasi super volatile din yung ano eh, super volatile din yung duration ng Tornado. Kasi Invoker is not hindi siya normal na hero eh. Yung spells niya, his spells have weird leveling
10 seconds
mechanics, no?
remaining.
Weird skill mechanics. Pag nag-improve siya ng Wex
5 seconds
for this certain level, of course, angat yung Tornado by a certain
Radiant
degree or by
team
a certain
Drow
decimal
Ranger.
point of time na duration ng airtime. Pero Drow Ranger pick from STIE Olympians. So, still going to be parang the same kind of aggressive push-heavy draft from them. But, yun nga, medyo kukulangan sila dito in terms of attack speed. I think unless, sino bang pwede nilang gamitin dito in the offlane to kind of provide more damage, a tanky frontline, something to take care of the Timber Sudden. Kasi right now,
10
yung
seconds
while
remaining.
Invoker is good on STIE Olympians, sa lane
5
masyadong
seconds
mahirapan siya
remaining.
against the Void Spirit, I think. So they might want to hold off that pick.
Okay. So they went for the draw. Ang saktito ng Eagles, they went for the Timbersaw pick, which is a good hero then to close up the gap para makalapit sa draw. And it's also strong against the Ogre Magi.
Yeah, it's also a very nice and decent Lotus builder, no? Yep, and so yung Slugger nga, it works against the Timbersaw, it somewhat works against the Void Spirit din because it's a way to kind of stack your disables na. Pero against the Timbersaw, this actually forces yung Timber to get a very early Lotus, no? You have to dispel the Gauss, you have to dispel like
10
Ignite, you have to
seconds
dispel
remaining.
Corrosive Haze, and he can use it very supportively din. He
5
can use it as a
seconds
utility
remaining.
item for his other, or for the other two cores. So, malay natin, these are actually the other two cores we're looking at. Although I hope that's not Snap Power plus 1. Really hope na position 5 lang siya, as we've seen TMV play before. Meanwhile, STIE Olympians, sobrang ganda na ng draft na to actually. Very alam natin kung saan sila magko-commit. And also, the Roshan potential is very good.
Sobrang saglit lang. Corrosive Haze. Plus the damage from the draw. Tapos meron ka pang
Phantom Assassin.
okay, nag-PA. Sasabihin ko pa lang yung Ogre Magi may Bloodlust. Sagot ka agad dito. PA, which is a good hero din to close the gap. Di ba? May Stifling Dagger siya to slow down the draw. And he also, she also has something like the Blink instantly sa tapat. And can you imagine the coup de grace when it connects to the draw na nag-crit? Oh my God. That damage.
Yeah, also, yung early aggression nito, Kalbs, because this is a Snapfire plus Phantom Assassin lane if ever. Grabe yung aggression dito. You have you have the cookie, you have the scatter blast, and yung sobrang annoying na daggers from the Phantom Assassin.
So yung may setup pala sila. So pag nag-blink, the PA can just blink, then follow up ng cookie, scatter blast, like you mentioned, di ba? Massive yung damage. Well, medyo mahirap din pala, no? Kasi kalay nila if ever yung Slardar. Diba, can you imagine Slardar, di ba? Iba person ng gano'n. Matama ang kailangan lang maging rito, maingat na yung Slardar. Kasi pag nakommit niya na yung Slithering Crush niya, yun na yun. Yun na yun. Yun na lang yung chance niya na makapag-back out ka agad sa ganong klaseng aggression. Coming from the side of Eagles.
Like, hindi na kayo pwede mag-rely, or yung Slardar, hindi na siya pwede mag-rely sa Bash of the Deep eh. Kasi obviously, Phantom Assassin is going to have at least a value point sa kanyang Blur, no? Which is a very valuable evasion against Heroes and Drow, Slardar, even the Mirana early on para mag-avoid ka ng harass.
5 seconds remaining.
Crazy din, hirap din. Tsaka yung sprint din naman, hindi rin naman ganun siya ka-effective during the early levels, especially wala ka sa tubig. Tsaka, yung sprint kasi ngayon dati wala siyang walang mana cost. Right now, he has a mana cost. Something like around 20 yata, if I'm not mistaken, 50. Something around that. Pero, kailangan niya mag-ingat sa lane. Oh my God, the clock. Goods din to against sa Slardar. Even the draw.
Yeah.
Hook shot.
Actually, it's pretty good against Ogre, the Drow, the Slardar, and you can play this very aggressively. In fact, it might work against the TA din, pero I think STIE Olympian, they're feeling very confident. We see the fist bumps come out, and the Templar Assassin pick was just picked directly after yung clock, no? So they might know how to play against this. Pero I think yung STIE Olympians, they have a pretty good draft going. They have a pretty good idea kung anong gusto nila gawin. A lot of minus armor, nakikita natin. With Bem, with Cox, and maybe we're going to see a medallion pop out here from either Drake or Ron. Pero one thing is for sure, we are going to see a TA game from the STIE Olympians yet again.
Tsaka nakita mo yung side doon ng SEO. After they pick the Lanaya or yung Templar Assassin, automatic fist bump. Tapos si Nano, sobrang let's get it on, 2-0, sabi ni Nando, we can do this, guys. So, super confident ng team pag ganun. Yeah. They have a plan. Pag mga ganong klaseng mga reaction ready na. Tsaka hindi sila nagpatagal ng last pick. Instantly, PA, okay, let's get it on, boys. Peace bumps, left and right. Sabay Nando.
The thing is, Abs, a fun fact here, no? They've not lost a game na nag-pick sila, or nag-last pick sila ng Templar Assassin.
Yeah.
So that's why they're being very confident.
Totoo yun. Pero sobrang physical damage versus yung mga galing sa side ng SEO. Roshan, sasabihin lang ni Roshan, have mercy.
Masyadong mabilis.
Melt strike, it's possible. Gaya na sabi mo rin kanina, di ba? Baka may mag-medallion, Solar Crest. May, actually, Ogre Magi, goods din yun for the medallion. O even the Mirana.
Din, no?
Yeah. Pero ito na nga, guys. Ito na. Game number 2 on its way. 1-0 in favor, of course, SEO. Will LPE make this series a draw or 1-1? Abangan natin yan. Pero ito na nga, guys. Introduction muna tayo for the teams. For the side of the Eagles, we have Prince for the PA, Hero for the Clockwork, TMB on the Snapfire, Sai for the Faces, for the Void Spirit, and Root 93.
Meanwhile naman, sa side dito ng SEO, Ron sa kanyang Ogre Magi, Ben kay Slardar, Nando on the Drow Ranger, Drake on Mirana, and Cox sa kanyang Templar Assassin. By the way, guys, this tournament is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusements Board. So thank you so much to our friends at Gab.
Yeah, shoutout sa friends natin sa Gab. Of course, yan. Shoutout sa inyo lahat sa mga nanonood. good afternoon sa inyo. Alam ko magpapasko na. Kaya medyo madilim na ang alas 5. So,
30
almost
seconds
that
to
day.
battle.
I mean, bilis, no?
Sobra. And speaking of mabilis, let's hope na hindi din ganun yung issue for the series
Yes.
for LPE versus SEO because gusto ko makita ng gusto ko makita ng 1-1 dito. I want to see LPE kind of bounce back. But at the same time, I want SEO to show na nakuha na nila yung laro na LPE.
The
And if
battle
ever they do
begins.
pop out and lose each other in the playoffs, then we're going to have to see one team kind of forced to play differently against SEO at the very least, no?
So, ito yung mid-matchup natin. The Lanaya versus the Void Spirit mid or the Templar Assassin mid. So, perfect naman yung body blocks. Halos even lang for these two players or mid laners. Ang ganda yung block ni Cox dito. Actually, even lang to. Even na even lang. Kaya na nga. As I've mentioned, sobrang even lang ng body block. Well played. Magkakatalo na lang to in getting more hits sa creeps. Pero instantly, alam ni Sai, physical damage ka eh. I'll just use my Resonant Pulse. Diba? May damage of physical damage absorption yung spell. And another good spell to use then for securing the last hits on the mid lane.
Pero another thing is that magagamit na lang yung Resonant Pulse buff niya if ever he's not getting hit by Psyblades. Kasi yung Psyblades, that's pure. You're not going to reduce that in any way. So Resonant Pulse not going to be that effective again. Instead, he's going to really use yung pulse na yun to clear out yung range creep. Kasi masyado mahirap i-contest yung i-contest yung isang Templar Assassin for the...
And look at these two supports. Taunting each other after the Verano was able to get the full one creep wave. That was a pretty nice play then from the Mirana. It will help out. First yung kasama niya sa lane, yung Slardar. Sobrang magbe-benefit sila doon. Maghahati sila sa experience. Pero Hero with a clock, may expect na natin niya he'll be making a lot of big plays dito sa game. Hindi lang naman puro tiny ang alam ni Hero, guys. Kanina naglina siya. Ganda rin ng mga LSA niya, the spams for his static slave. Pero Timbers yung kasama niya. Aalis na rin yan siguro later on siya, no?
Yeah, I think most definitely. Pero I
Kakapyan
think
if
they
you're
just
playing
want
as
to
support.
make use of a lot of the harass going on sa top lane, no? Kasi alam nila, Nando needs to ferry some regen. Just have him kind of trade off as well as the regen na nawawala ang Irito right now. And you kind of have to force Rondon out because eventually, once Nando gets enough levels, may kill potential din siya. Even though that is a Timber, so Drow does really weird amounts of damage early
Radiant's
on. Mga
courier
level
has
5,
been
level 6.
killed.
Yeah, true that. Pero Courier Snipe, makukuha ni Drake. Nakakuha pa siya ng isang neutral dun sa camp na yun. So, extra XP plus gold for everyone. Kuha ng Courier Snipe. Pero Hero early rotation na level 2. Pero
But
battery
standing on top of a ward eh.
Yeah, alam niyan. I think si Cox binibait niya lang yan. Binibait lang ni Cox.
Or naghahanda na ng TP, yung mga supports din ng SEO dito. So, let's see what kind of play they try to make wala na refraction.
Yeah, nagbigay na yun. Kaya tingnan ginawa ni Sai. Nilakaran siya knowing na, okay, go nga ba? Actually, siya pa kayo na-zone out. Sayang yung tagal dito ni Hero, ha? He's not getting anything. I mean, levels, XP, which is importante na nga. Malakpak na with the body block. Ayun yung Cox na ko. Pero meron siyang
No, walang sentry din sa middle lane. So, a nice meld. Nice skill point and meld there by Cox. No? So, very timely. Nag-level 4 siya. He takes a leveling meld. Now, contesting Sai with another meld. The refraction. Bonus damage as well. And Sai in a bit of trouble dito. Grabe. Oh, Psyblades!
Oh my God! Tumama pa yung Ether Remnant! Pero makakatakas siya dito. He has a friend here. He has a friend.
These mid laners playing out of their minds dito. Cox, will he get the rune here? 4 minutes, will it spawn? And no, it's on the other side. Oh, nasan si TMD and Cyan. Oh, actually, I think it got denied.
Yeah, he got denied. Grabe yun. Yung pag na-simulate niya, tumama pa yung Ether Remnant. Big place.
Grabe. Sobra yung level of mechanical skill ng dalawang players dito sa mid lane.
A bauble from the void.
That's why I love watching Dota. May mga ganong klaseng play. Hindi siya, hindi naman kaka-start pa lang naman, pero it matters kasi sa mid laners eh. If you're getting killed as early as now, less than 5 minutes, magsasuffer yung mid laner na mapapunish.
Yep, definitely. Pero wala pang first blood daw. We've seen the power runes come out, yung bounties they're about to spawn. So maybe during the bounty rune engagements, we will be seeing our first blood attack. Pero natakbo na Hero and Ron waiting for this bounty.
Na-outplay siya dun ng Ogre. Pero, naisahan siya dun, pero they want Bem. However, Prince...
Matay yung ano niya.
Oh boy, si Hero. Sakit! Whirling
Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit hard to take down din dito si Rupido. Already 3 levels of reactive armor. So, there's not a lot that Nando can do against him. Especially pag couple now, may creeps din na nag-hit kay Rupido.
Hindi yung problema kasi.
Grabe yung Raven talaga ng isang combination.
Lalo na pag full stack yung, marami kang stacks ng reactive armor. Kaya minsan nag-wonder yung mga ibang players na bakit ang bilis matuno? Kasi wala siyang reactive armor stack. Pero once he has the full stack ng reactive armor, good luck in taking him down. Lalo na pag physical kayo. Wala kayong magic burst or any physical burst. Wala, it's gonna be a tough game. Pero kasi dito yung SEO. They have ways to deal with the Timbersaw. They have the negative armor, merong corrosive haze, merong meld strike. Kompleto eh. May throw damage din.
And most importantly, may disable sila. So, to prevent Timbersaw from timber chaining away.
Yung pa. Pero maski pa paano, si Bem has a good level dito sa bottom level 6 na siya. Corrosive haze is up. Level 5 pa lang dito si Prince. Pero medyo scary to Scary to for the side of the Eagles. Early levels para dito kay Bem. He also has a good farm. Not too bad.
I think big factor din dito yung Snapfire versus the Mirana matchup kasi yung Snapfire is forced to harass the Mirana instead of Bem. Diba? So si TMB dito parang nade-distract siya. Instead of zoning out the enemy position 3, you have to take care of this Mirana kasi sobrang annoying ng Mirana eh. And sobrang greedy. Yeah, and a first blood actually goes on the bottom lane as TMB drops down to Bem on a Slardar.
Diba sabi sa inyo guys, medyo scary na to eh. Level 6, tas yung support na nandito, Snapfire. Pag nagamit niya yung cookie niya, there's nothing na for the Snapfire.
Oh, yung damage!
Oh my god, what?
Consider an alternative.
Okay. Wala pa rin ganung nagkakabigayan dito sa mid lane. Pero I was like saying sa bottom, naku-threads na rin tong Slardar.
Pero if mapapansin natin, the highest, actually top 8 dito, Hero.
Scatter blast. Nitay din ni Timber. And of course, last hit ni Rupido yan.
Pero yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, before that engagement, si Rupido actually yung he's the most farmed person beside ng LPE. He's the most farmed hero. Or he's the one that has the most last hits eh. 42 to 3. He's the only one that's having kind of decent lane. Sabihin natin, medyo nahirapan din kasi si Prince din sa bot eh. Right now, nakapatay na yung Slardar. Yung Slardar has a kill, is a level up. He needs to find a way to farm. Yeah, so he's taking the top wave and iti-trade nila itong mga tier 1 na ito.
Which is magiging successful naman sila. Makukuha nila yung tier 1 tower. Tinangkin na nga lang ni Rupido yung tower hits eh. Parang wala lang bawas. And look at how aggressive this DPS. Instantly, tumama, no. I think that wasn't a good TP, pero may stock siya ng ng ganyang armor. May mga matay pa, buhay pa rin dito yung draw. Maski nakakorosive HT Timber, so look at him go. Shotgun will miss, however, pero Bem is in trouble, guys. Bem, titering crash, nahuli ni si Hero, nalaman pa sila dito, and Bem is still up and alive.
Silence!
Okay, nakuha Hero, but the Timbersaw is still alive at this point. Nag-roll out pa lang. And he won't take out the draw. Kaso i-exchange yan, 2 for 2. The Wookie, patay.
Oh, no.
Kaso may ba? Si Bem! Kanina pa si Bem nandito. And isa pang hit. Back into deep. There you go. Considering crush pa yan. And another back into deep. One more.
The damage.
Man, I was like telling you guys, scary tong gantong mataas na level na Slardar. He has the damage. Bash into deep.
And he's getting closer sa kanyang Blink Dagger, no? So it's gonna be easier to find yung mga backline heroes and especially find this PA din na hindi pa ganun kataas yung level. At the same time, going towards that Desolator na si Fox. Alam niya na isa ng mga nila, yung Slardar. Pero sa side naman ng LPE din, Calbs, I think medyo okay din sa kanila yung nangyari. Even though they trade a few kills, and even though hindi nila na-secure yung Slardar, what happens is na-secure naman nila yung tier 1 bot nila. So, kahit pa paano, may breathing room pa din naman yung PA to farm until she gets her battle phase.
Actually, yung PA ba sumama doon sa fight? No. Yung PA was just like farming, right?
Yeah, nasa top side na ng map yung PA sa Clash na yun.
Kasi sasabihin ko rin sana kung nakuha sana yung tier 1 tower, diba? Sobrang bad nga yun. Tapos, na-defend din yung tier 1 tower, yung PA nagpa-farm din, so... Mas something good, di ba? Out of from that loss sa team fight. Pero si Bem ang tagal ng team fight na buhay pa rin. Nakapag-regen pa nga eh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And I think actually kompleto na yung Desolator dito ni Cofton na. Papunta na. It's actually on its courier na siguro. Siguro right after this, we're gonna go for an
Radiant's
engagement.
bottom tower has fallen.
Agad Deso. Napabismok ni Sai. And Sai will go in. Pero yun nga naman, hook shot. Oh, connect on sa Lanaya. And Lanaya, sunod. Nakupi siya rito. For more kisses from the Snapfire. Well played. Nicely done.
Ang ganda ng pasok ni Sai dun. Yung Assault Strap actually caught 3 resonant pull. Even though hindi nag-connect agad yung Aether Remnant, mabilis naman yung follow-up from the Clockwork no Hero with that hook shot landing perfectly. And the Cogs din inside. So the Mortimer Kisses combo still there from TMD and Hero. And SEO, they lose their mid laner pero na-trade nila yung bottom tier 1.
Yeah. Big plays again. So we're now even at the 11, almost 12 minutes, 5-5. This is game number 2. Sa mga tune-in pa lang. Pero Bem still farming out on his third item. I'm sorry, second big item, BKB. He'll go
Meanwhile,
for
si Prince naman dito, 12-minute Battle Fury din. So it's not that bad din for the side of LPE. They're also finding amazing amounts of farm on their carry. So right now, playing the catch game pa naman si Prince. Still trying to catch up. So, going to his triangle, doing his ancient stacks. Kasi he has a naked Battle Fury, pero wala siyang boots. And he's still sitting behind the draw in terms of net worth. No? So, he still needs a bit more before he can kind of compete or makasama siya sa mga clash with the rest of the team.
Yun lang, si Prince na uli rito. I mean, yung, si Rupid na-silence up. And easy burst, easy kill. Pero nakasmoke up pa rin dito yung ibang teammates ni Rupido Currently smoke up and they're actually pinging. There's someone here. Rakis Flip, hook shot, tumama sa Drown. And Drown, na-knockback. Pinusya nung cock. Will they get the skill? Oh no! Nakuha ka rin yung mga kanilang Void Spirit. Meron ito natakbo na si Hero. Hero knows. This is not a good position for them to go for a big fight.
Amateur.
4 heroes down.
Masyadong lihada na sila. Wala na yung leaders nila dun. Rupido already went down. Pero they still tried to force a fight. Maganda yung hookshot onto kay Nando, yes. Pero hindi siya nahuli within that crowd. In fact, he was pushed away, allowing him to deal more damage with a more tap. And of course, nakapag-gust pa siya. So, yun, yung silence na yun, yung actually yung pumatay kay Sai on the Void Spirit.
Yun yung maganda nga pala, during the early, pag may gust yung may silence dito yung draw. Tapos walang Yules, wala pang Lotus Orb. Yung Timber, sobrang dali niyang patayin.
No. Even though may Rocket Flare, I think they want to commit on this. Alam nila na walang hookshot, I think. Pero, they might also be just baiting it out.
Pero mabilis lang to,
Sobrang
oh my
bilis.
god, the damage. And the Blink na huli yung nilang Void Spirit. Sa hookshot also connect. Nakasinan sa nakuha na ni Cook. Yung Aegis, yung drone point pa rin. And drone na ng Cook. Nabigyan pa ng Earth na Bobby Holmes. Buhay pa rin Draw Ranger! Nakuha dito yung PA! The Void Spirit is down! Make it 3 heroes down! And look at that! Draw Ranger lives! Oh my god, 4 heroes down once. Again, Paddy's side
Radiant's
ng
middle
Eagle set.
tower is under attack.
Aegis as well onto the side of SEO. No? Walang nakuha. They might even lose 5. Technical team wipe, LPE, lose 5, and the Roche to SEO. And they also lose their middle tier 1. Grabe, the aggression of SEO paying off. And
Radiant's
drafts
middle
like this
tower is
actually
under
working
attack.
out for them really, really well. Grabe, ang bilis ng Roshan eh. You can just see it fall down in like under 15 seconds. Okay, maganda yung multiple kisses, maganda yung hook shot, na-cogs nice, nahuli nyo si Nando, pero mapapatay nyo ba? And they couldn't.
Dyer's
Like,
turret
nag-indis siya because of that Moonlight Shadow. Grabe yung habol kay QMD sa kanya. Pero in the very end, it wasn't enough damage. Siya pa kayong bumayad. At the
Tsaka-
very end, paying with his own life.
Tsaka ang ganda ng ginawa doon ni Bem. Doon sa Slardar niya, he used the vision coming from the Sacred Arrow. Di ba yung Sacred Arrow from the river going inside the pit of Roshan? Kaso, wait lang. Okay, tinigilan na. Pero yung gaya na
Cox,
sinasabi
very
ko.
patient.
Yeah, he was really patient at that time. I mean, on that situation. Pero yung ginamit niyang parang
Radiant's
surveillance
bottom
camera,
tower is under
yung
attack.
arrow, nakita niya yung yung Void Spirit. So he instantly jumps in, blinks in, and oh my god!
What? Gusto ba yun?
My god, the damage! That was like 2 clicks, right?
Timbersaw ba yun? It just went down. 2 hits from the TA and then 1 bash from the Slardar. Insane amount of damage.
Negative,
Coming out from SEO.
Yeah, negative armor. Meld, Deso, Corrosive Haze. Alam mo,
Radiant's
wala,
bottom tower is
nag-i-snowball
under
na sila
attack.
rito eh. Hindi mo gano'n sila aggressive, oh. And hindi pa ganun ka solid yung high ground defense dito ng ng Eagles. They only have the cogs, the rocket flare, the scatter
Radiant's
blast,
bottom
pero long
tower is
cooldown
under
yan.
attack.
Yep, the Phantom Assassin has to drag the game if ever gusto niya to find enough farm para makapag-participate sa mga clash, no? Pero you just need too much as of this point. Siguro you also need a BKB para hindi ka makontrol. You need a Lotus on Rupiter to kind of help you with moving around this fight. You also need a little bit more damage with a Desolator. So there's a lot of
Radiant's
things na
bottom
kailangan
tower
ng
is
isang
under
PA
attack.
ngayon to fight against this trap. Unfortunately, hindi niya magawa lang yun. The rest of his team needs to farm as well. But they're already pretty down. 5k net worth on or almost 6k net worth on your Void
Radiant's
Spirit,
bottom
pero
tower
it
is
stops
falling.
there, no? Double na yung net worth ng Templar Assassin sa or the Templar Assassin has double the net worth ng Void Spirit natin.
Oh, no.
Back Void Spirit.
Oh no. Ganun kadali, ganun kasimple guys. Blink, Slaitering Crush, follow up ng arrow, may bash into deep, may corrosive base pa on top of everything. Easy kill talaga,
Radiant's
pa sa
bottom
side ng
tower is under attack.
SEO.
May vision na sila dito. Nakikita ni Print yung threat na papalapit si Ron, papalapit si Cox. And I think they also find, they do see the Observer Ward now. And hindi ka pwede mag-farm sa triangle mo. Oh, look at this drop.
may claw.
Claw drop. Oh no, Cox is gonna be very happy about this if ever they decide to give it to him.
They'll get it, of course. Oo, bibigay ko sa sa TA ko eh. You know, ang daming I mean sobrang effective sa TA niyan. May Deso ka, may Melt
Radiant's
Strike,
top
daming hit
tower is
yan.
under attack.
First hit crit. A guaranteed
Ben.
crit.
At the same time, maganda din yung item dito ni Bem on his Slardar, no? He has the
Radiant's
Vampire
top
Fang, so
tower
it
is
allows
under
him to
attack.
get a lot more vision din than normal since it increases yung vision mo sa gabi. So at night time, it's
Radiant's
easier
top
for him to kind of
tower
blink
falling.
in or secure yung mga corrosive haze na otherwise hindi mo masisecure without the Vampire Fang. As mentioned na kanina, si dito, si Cox, the Impro.
Yes, sir! Guaranteed kasi first hit crit yan eh. Sobrang weak ng ng high ground nila. Sobrang weak ng high ground defense nila. Yeah, sure, meron ko yung Timber. Pero nakita nyo kanino, gaano kabilis natunaw yung Timber doon eh.
Timber kanina, and right now, the tier 4, the tier 3 doesn't look like it's any hits to
Dyer's
Oh
bottom
my
survive
God.
once it goes
Radiant's
down.
top barracks
Wala na silang
is
range
falling.
racks, melee racks gonna go down soon. Nando here, free hitting. Si Cox na yung bala sa front line eh.
He has the ages, so he can tank everything. May BKB pa
Radiant's
yan.
top barracks are under attack.
Diba? So, first, then
Dyer's
second
bottom
BKB
tower
charge.
is under
And it's
attack.
through backdoor.
Radiant's
They
top
get it through
barracks
backdoor.
is
Melee
falling.
barracks go down 19 minutes, so they beat the record of last game. From 22, they push it down to 19. They get the first track. Instant rotation away.
Oh, smoke shot, kaso sa Ogre lang to eh. Pero, of course, maski anong pwede na makuha, they'll get it. They'll take it.
Yeah. They need to take what they can get, no? They need the farm on that, they need the farm on all their heroes, not just their cores, not just their PA. They need farm on all their heroes. They need to catch up 14k ahead na yung SEO dito.
Grabe yung start dito ng SEO. Akin nag-snowball.
For last game, Cubs, LPE was just neck and neck with the SEO, no? They had at least like 1k lang for the majority of the game. It was just a 1k net worth difference. Both teams were very close. Even though my friend, my Void, I mean, Facebook's Void, sobrang lapit lang na net worth, but this game we're really seeing the dominance na kaya i-output ng isang Templar Assassin, ng isang Drow Ranger, especially if they had very good and functional lanes early on.
I think the Eagles, kailangan nila na sobrang, I mean, i-drag pa tong game na to. Kakakuha pa lang ng PA ng ng Deso. Yeah. He needs a lot. Actually, yung BKB nga, hindi ko alam kung masasave siya rito, pero I don't know.
The BKB might not be enough kasi may bash of the deep, ghost immunity. Yet the Templar Assassin will still hit you. No, it doesn't matter if my magic immunity ka. She hits physical. And if Psyblade, she hits pure. She doesn't care about your BKB.
Totoo yan. Ayun lang yung parang dilemma rito for the PA. Kasi right now, he's queuing up, going for the BKB. Kaya parang medyo sabi, will this work? BKB? I don't think so na ganun ka-effective. Yung item is there, look at them go. The right clicks again, but the Kobe is there. He has a use. He will survive. Tapos po spin at the back line. Do they have to catch? No. Naka-ready Ether Remnant. Chakram is there as well for stop. Huli rito yung Void Spirit, but he has the actual step. Connected or tumama. Arrow back and Silence. Nicely done. He'll take out. Nakita mo yung damage. And yung PA na dito rin. He will join the fray. He will join the fight. Do they have any enough damage?
It's not enough?
No, it's fine. And GG.
They GG out?
That was a fast stop.
Grabe! Alam nila ang laki na ng lead. Sobrang laki na ng lead ng SEO at this point. Yung Drow nga, hindi na nila mapatay.
Man, nakita mo yung ginawa ng teammates doon? Ni Nando?
Sobrang ganda ng control na pinakita dito ng SEO. Like, as soon as, or as long as ma-implement lang nila yung plan that they have in mind, I think they're fully capable of winning games easy like this. No? Speaking of revenge match, the match is already starting. Now, reminders, mga nanonood lang ngayon, and to those that catch the series earlier, this is only going to be a best of one. Kasi nga tiebreaker to, it's only going to secure yung 1 point na kailangan ng either team to have that top 2 placement. So, will it be the Eagles cementing their place, or will it be the E-Olympians rising to their claim?
Yes. So, gaya na mention siya, best of 1 lang to, guys. Kailangan lang talaga ma-break yung tie. Kaya nga siya tinawag na tiebreaker. 1 point lang naman yung kailangan to separate these 2 teams. Pero yung ban dito, standard pa rin, no more face this Void. Walang mga even the Tiny is out. Batrider, tinanggal na nila, same goes for the bench. Pero first pick, Eagles to the Merana set.
Yeah. And I think ito yung best part about having them be on Radiant, be on first pick. Sobrang proactive nila, especially when they realize na priority nila na heroes ni Hero. Because ito yung nagde-define ng speed ng games kanila, at least like early on. And even though nabigay nila yung Snapfire, it's not really that big priority sa kanila kasi they don't place this on the 4. Hindi nila kinakover pa ng Snapfire. Hindi pa hero ni Hero. It's more of a TMD hero, but at the same time, we see him rely on other heroes talaga. We see, I think right after no second game, I talked about how binibigay sa kanya dapat ng mga hero like Age of Apparition, Trend Protector, Oracle din. Sobrang lakas sa DTMD sa mga heroes na ganun. And now, Bloodseeker actually going to be from Rupido, I think. This is your offlane Bloodseeker. So still very strong, no? Coming out from the Eagles, and priority din siya actually in a sense since hindi siya na-ban from STIE Olympians.
Kanina sa series, no, correct me if I'm wrong, yung game 2 lang yata na-ban yung Bloodseeker. Hindi ko lang maalala nung game 1. Pero this time around, na-open kasi nag-iba ng konti yung bans ng dalawang team. They went with the Bloodseeker. Tapos Rubik naman for the STI Olympians. Gusto ko rin yung Bloodseeker kasi di ba meron siyang yung blood right? It can or it silences out any hero or sa AoE yung nung radius na yung circle. It can easily be used as a snapfire. Tapos yung range
10
naman ng casting nun
seconds
is
remaining.
sobrang, I mean, in a way, malayo din. Malawak din yung abot.
5
So maganda rin tong
seconds
spell na to
remaining.
against sa Snapfire. Tsaka aggressive to eh. Aggressive tong Bloodseeker. If you get the Bloodseeker, gusto nyo kagad mag-snowball kayo. Ganun lang yun.
Radiant team back.
Most definitely. Pero yung pick dito ng SEO Olympians, they know exactly kung paano i-counter or how to play against yung isang Bloodseeker. You have the Snapfire, you have the Rubik. So, even though early on na pick na lang yung Snapfire, it's still very, it still provides a lot of control towards the Bloodseeker. Sa lane lang mismo. Later on,
10
medyo mahirap na because
seconds remaining.
a lot of what you have to offer deals with mobility, yung cookie,
5 seconds remaining.
once you get the Aghanims, yung gobble up, spit out, it has to deal with what do you call this? Positioning din. So Bloodseeker kind of benefits from that.
Dire
Pero yung
team
second
back.
pick nila, Rubik, is kind of really what ensures a game against Bloodseeker. Kasi you can interrupt him as he's running close to anyone with lift, paid bot para mag minus damage, and of course it's a nuke din. And then the best part is that you can steal Blood Right, which is amazing on Rubik kasi pure damage siya. Plus ma-amplify pa siya
10
sa passive ni
remaining.
Rubik, which is his arcane mastery, no? So mangyayari dito,
5
Rubik does more
seconds
damage and it silences for a lot longer on Rubik if ever manakaw niya yung Blood Right. The only thing that STIE Olympians can actually, or the only thing that Eagles actually have to worry about aside from the Rubik here is going to be a Morphling carry pick, which is of course ginagawa din ng SCIE Olympians and we know who's going to be playing that Morphling, so medyo delikado. Kaya nag-wonder din ako kung bakit mas priority sa kanila yung AM ban instead of a Morphling ban, pero let's see kung ano yung plano ng SCIE Olympians dito.
Yeah, ako agree din ako doon. Morphling is one of Nando's
Radiant team
hero din.
back.
Hindi lang puro Faces Void yan, hindi lang puro Troll Warlord. He can play a different hero as well. So tignan na lang natin kung yung pwede. Actually, I don't think na ibaban pa rin yung Morph eh. Ang priority nila rito is one of Nando's hero din dito sa tournament, yung like Stealer. Pero wala na rin dito nga Terrorblade. I'm sorry, yung AM pala sasabihin ko. Wala nang AM. Beastmaster is also out of the equation. Terrorblade is also banned out. Same goes for the Void Spirit. Pero
10 seconds remaining.
alright. Marami pang
5
Murph,
seconds
feeling ko
remaining.
Murph is one of the best pick or counter din dito sa dalawang heroes pa lang ng side ng Eagles, or not exactly counters but something like a good hero na parang itandem do sa dalawang I don't know if it's going to be a Snapfire support, pero for sure Rubik will be playing the support here for the side of the Olympian squad. Marami silang choice. I mean, marami pang open eh. Ako nga ngayon medyo nasanay na ako ngayon sa meta, yung 7 or 14 ban heroes. Para pag nakakita ko, binaban nila yung Terrorblade, EM, Faces Void, parang okay lang. Marami pa namang iba eh.
Yeah, most definitely. No? Ang dami pang options. Even though maraming bans, marami na ding hero sa Dota kasi. And ang dami na nilang pwedeng gawin. Like, ang dami ng hero na nag-fulfill ng multiple roles. Hindi na gaya ng dati na pag hard carry ka lang. Hindi ka pwedeng ilagay sa mid, hindi ka pwedeng ilagay sa offlane. Right now,
10
options. There are
seconds
options everywhere. Bloodseeker, pwede mo siyang gawing mid, pwede mo pa rin siyang gawing position
5
1, pero
seconds
most
remaining.
likely now, he's going to be played sa offlane role.
Totoo yan. Ganun na ka-flexible yung mga heroes ngayon sa Dota. Kanina ko pa sinasabi pa ulit-ulit kasi mas kaya nung cast ko. In Dota ngayon, pag sinabing gantong hero ka, yun na yung position mo, that's it. Hindi na pwedeng magbago. Yun na lang lalaroin. Pero ngayon kasi, especially yung gaya na Snapfire, can be played as a mid,
Radiant team pick.
offlane, support. Pero Troll Warlord, nilabas na ang Jarakal ni Nando. Eto na. Walang morph, no more morph.
Yep, I don't think they are going to consider it. Even kahit for a mid lane, it might seem a little bit too difficult for them. Pero eto,
Dire
it's full
team
commitment on the Snow Warlord plus Snapfire combo sa taas. And they do exactly what they should do on TMB. They give him his Oracle. Works very well against Troll kasi nga, may disarm. And also, if ever your carry is man fighting against the Troll, yung ulti kasi ni Troll parang hindi siya namamatay, di ba? You can't kill him until a certain
10
time has
seconds
passed. No?
remaining.
For Oracle, it's the same thing with False Promise kasi.
5
So,
seconds
I think
remaining.
if they choose any position 1 na kaya mag-man fight against the Troll Warlord, as long as the Oracle stays alive and has very good positioning sa mga engagement or sa mga team fight nila, then the Eagles might come out ahead dito mid-game. Later into the game, I don't think I'm feeling too confident about sa draft ng Olympians dito.
Yeah. May solusyon ka agad sila. Ang bilis eh. After the SMO picked up Troll Warlord, sagot ka agad Oracle. Yeah, we're ready to deal with the troll. Hindi namin kailangan i-ban yan. We have answers for that hero. Pero next pick, Slardar na naman ni Bem nilabas.
So, eto yung very solid crutch ng SEO, no?
Yes,
Kasi
sir.
grabe yung performance ni Bem last game on that Slardar, securing the early game, securing the Roshan, securing the bottom lane para sa kanyang
10 seconds
for the rest of
remaining.
the SEO squad.
Tsaka
Radiant
sobrang
team
ganda nung
back.
nilaro ni Bem
Juggernaut.
all those past 2 series. Pero Jog is actually a good hero. Actually, sa troll, I mean, in my opinion. He can man fight din. Wag lang siya marut. Pero may Omni Slash naman siya eh. Then, if you upgrade his,
10
I mean, pag meron kang Aghanim Scepter, meron ka din bang Swift Slash. So that's a good
Team
spell
back.
o ability din for the Jug to deal with the troll or even a Slardar.
Radiant team back.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Jug is a good pick here kasi hindi mo kailangan mag-face-to-face ng Troll Warlord, no? You don't really have to compete with him in terms of DPS like sa auto-attack. At the same time, you lane very well against the Slardar kasi pwede kang hindi mahuli ng Slithering Crush. Of course, problema po pa rin
10
yung bash of the deep.
seconds remaining.
Pero you have your own sustain apart from the Oracle who's also going to be helping you
5
out in lane.
seconds
You
remaining.
can just spin out of most engagements, especially if Rubik Slardar yung katapat mo.
Well, yeah, totoo yan. Yung pwede lang mag-cancel nung nag-TP na naka-Blade Fury na Juggernaut is yung third skill lang, yung Bash of the Deep, ng Slardar. And other than that, wala na. Nakalis ko marut. Pero, no, hindi pala pumapasok. Oh, hindi. Oh, rooted yeah, pumapasok ka rin pala. Yata, I'm not sure. I need to test that. Since na hindi ako siguro. Kasi I haven't seen yung matchup na sobra yung Jug and Troll sa isang game. This is one of the few. Pero ang kulang... Yeah, sure, go ahead, man.
I think yung ginawa kasi ng Olympians dito, Cubs, is nagfo-focus din sila kay Troll actually. If makita mo yung bans nila ng mga position 1 carry, yung mga nag-outscale kay Troll Warlord.
True.
So kinukuha nila yung Faceless, yung Terrorblade, yung Spectre, mga super late game na
Radiant
masyadong hindi na makakaya ng Troll later on. Pero yun nga, they forgo one pick which is the Juggernaut na may potential siya to outscale the Troll Warlord and also has the potential to parang come online earlier instead. So now, na-force sila na mag-pick ng Slardar para makontrol at the very least yung isang Juggernaut dito from the Eagles.
10
Ang ganda rin ng
seconds
Pog naman, Kasi sobrang goods din niya sa troll, di ba? Imagine, yung
5
troll
seconds
nag-ulti or may
remaining.
target siya, i-decrepify niya lang yung target, wala na kaagad, di ba? Wala nang gagawin yung troll. 0 damage, naligtas yung teammate niya, then may sustain pa. Meron siyang life drain. Yung life drain naman, hindi lang na mapasa sa Pog na. You can also use the life drain para sa teammates niya. Pero Ember pick. So, ito yung mid laner nila.
Okay. Ako, hindi ako masyadong big fan itong Ember pick na to. I think
Templar
masyadong
Assassin.
risky nga. Oh no! We've seen this before.
Yes, sir. Kaya ako nung nakita ko, oh no.
Pero I think the Eagles actually were preparing for it. Although hindi ako massive fan for the Ember Spirit pick nila. Even though or kahit na si Sai yung magdadala ng Ember Spirit ito, ako it's still up against a Templar Assassin. And if hindi mag-connect yung mga rotation ni Hero doon sa mid lane, na kind of try and shut down Cox, if you aren't proactive na nahanapin niyo yung Templar Assassin sa jungle, medyo mahirapan talaga kayo up against the Templar Assassin. So they have to fix out what they did in game number 2 sa previous series natin so that they can secure this best of 1, no?
Actually, parang alam na kagad ng ng SEO kung anong gagawin nila after yung last pick. Automatic they went instantly for the TA. Looking at the lineup o yung draft dito ng SEO, meron kang Slardar, meron kang Troll, meron kang TA. So, heavy physical damage na naman yung manggagaling. But this time around, they have the Snapfire to provide an extra magical burst. May Mortimer Kisses, Scatter Blast. Oh my god. I mean, the
And
damage...
you have the Rubik as well.
Yeah,
din,
the
because,
Rubik din.
may Fade Bolt. And then, nakakanaho ka ng spells na not just magical, pero you can steal the highest priority spell, which is Blood Right. So that's
Right.
pure damage.
And that's pretty much effective then on the side of the Eagles. Yeah, they need to be they need to be worried then at the same time sa lane. Kasi kanina yung lanes nung
if you
game
can.
2, especially nung game 2, hindi nag-work out talaga ng maganda for the Eagles. And sana sa game na to, may break tayo kanina. I do believe they made some adjustment. So let's see what will be the result of this tiebreaker match, best of 1. this is it, set. So, ito na introduction natin for the two teams. Kasi sa mga tuning pa lang guys, best of one lang to. Pero, yeah, pakilala na natin. For the side of the Eagles, yeah, TMV. For playing the Oracle, Hero for the Mirana, Sai for the Ember Spirit, Rupido sa kanyang Bloodseeker, and Prince sa kanyang Juggernaut.
Sa side naman na SEIE Olympians, we have Ron sa kanyang Snapfire, Nando on his famous Troll Warlord, Bem on Slardar, Drick on Rubik, and Cox sa kanyang Templar Assassin. By the way guys, this tournament is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Sports. So big shout out to our friends at GAB.
Yes sir, shout out sa friends natin sa GAB. So, exciting game to eh. Maraming nakataya dito sa series na. Sa totoo
For sure.
Yeah. Maraming nakataya dito. I mean, nakataya. Dahil maraming
30 seconds to battle.
maraming mababago dito sa tournament. Siyempre, di ba, knowing that the Eagles, for the longest time, actually, sila pa nga nag-top. Then, for the longest time nga, second place sila. Sa likod lang sila ng Signal Ultra Warriors. Ito na ba yung changes sa ranking? Kasi kung sino man nanalo dito, makakalaman Signal eh. Gustong-gusto ni Nando kasi Nando wants to, face his old team. Nag-champion, hindi kayo mag-champion nung wala. Parang ganun kind of statement. Di ba?
Oo nga.
Different storyline. Hype na hype. Hype up ako talaga. Kung ano yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa tournament na to, especially on this match.
Yeah, so this is actually going to define kung ano makikita natin sa playoffs, kung sino yung makikita natin nakalaban ng Signal Ultra Warriors and ng Happy Feet Emperors respectively, no? So, grabe, a lot hinges on the outcome of this match.
Sobrang dami nga. Pero ito na nga, matchup natin. Well, sa totoo lang, yung match naman ng TA tsaka Ember Spirit, Ember can provide, of course, magic damage. Yung TA naman talagang pure physical damage. Yung refraction, it doesn't work on the flame guard. Pero, nauubos yung refraction charge. Same goes for the sa Ember. Yung physical, pasok na pasok dun sa, parang parang kontrapelo talaga itong dalawang hero to, especially on the mid matchup.
Pero yun nga lang, si Cox can take advantage of yung mga stacks a lot earlier. And he's also range, so that's another big thing na kaya siguro dito. Taking trouble, pero both level 1 pa naman, unless Ron can come up with another
Dire's top
scatter
tower
blast
is under attack.
Hero's just gonna make it.
Tapos si Nando rin. Actually, si Nando medyo mababa yung status niya o yung HP niya. Pero sakto, gandang reward nun. Free gold. Oh, the scatter blast. May lip ba siya? I don't think he has a lip. Wala siyang lip dito Kaso yun nga, masyadong malayo. Mas mabilis nga yung move speed ng Mirana.
Pero may mangga naman si Ron if ever they decide to engage again. Yun nga lang, nakikita natin yung very early sentry commitment dun sa top lane. No? It ensures na safe yung farm ni Nando dito. He's not going to be pressured in any way. If ever mapapressure ng time, it's gonna come from the lane mismo. And mismo, this is what I'm talking about. Blood right after the arrow. Then peacefully. And Nando, he actually run away. Scatter blast.
He will!
Grabe. The scatter blast slowing down the Bloodseeker so much hindi na siya makapaghabol. So Nando living by this kind of situation. He just ensured yung survival niya from that Snapfire scatter blast there.
So, naka-survive si Nando doon. Wala pa tayong first blood. 2 minutes in. Kanina nung game to rin, tagal din ng first blood Parang sobrang even lang nung game, di ba? 10 minutes in. Tapos biglang, wala na. Nag-snowball yung SEO.
Yep. Grabe yung mga first, yung previous 2 games kasi, I think SEO just really try na, if ever they want to go for a team, they want to make sure na yung commitments nila, they don't have to trade anything for it. Gusto nila na pure, if we get first blood, we're just getting first blood and we're getting off and we're getting more off.
Oh no. Ano yata yun? Yun na nga. First blood and the cookie. Tumama! As may leap pa rin naman. Yung Ina-root. Pero nag-aabol pa rin si Nando. Kuha pa yung courier. Healing stun yun, tsaka clarity.
Yun ko, okay lang sa kanya That's a courier. It's going down. And I think Hero might actually go down as well. Nando, mahabol ka ba? The arrow, will it connect? I don't think so. Pero...
And the arrow tag! It's an easy kill. There you go.
Beautiful arrow galing kay Hero din, no? Ugmana
Sir.
din na, saan tama. And now, bottom lane, Carbs, grabe dito. Then,
Scary.
onto TNV. May bash of the deep na. One more hit. Get the back onto Prince. Prince, wala pa siyang ikot dito, pero may boots na siya.
Pero kung ako Slardar, if I'm playing this Slardar, parang hindi ka matatakot sa jug eh. You have this, your third passive skill eh. Maski maikutan ka ng Juggernaut, ano yun, mababash mo pa rin siya eh.
I think yung worry lang siguro ng Slardar dito is getting disarmed as soon as ready na yung ano niya.
Oh, see? There you go. Oh, na yung ano. Diba? Bem taking down Prince. There,
Oh, it's just a
another
good-
kill.
Grabe dito yung performance ni Bem. And he did that na wala na yung Rubik niya. Yung Rubik niya on the way to secure a rune for the TA. Nag 1v2 siya dun. Up against the Oracle, up against the Gemini. He's winning his lane.
Uy, naroot dito si si Ruby na, but still level 1. Mababa yung level ng kanyang first skill. So, walang problema yan. Pero kanina ko mention, scary talaga Sobrang scary no kung matchup na melee hero ka. Tapos yung support na kasama mo sa lane, umalis pa. Rubik pa yung kasama mo. Okay lang, maintindihan ko. Tama ba Rubik ba yung kasama niya? Oh yeah, Rubik na yung kasama niya sa lane. That's not the Oracle. Sorry, Oracle yung kasama niya. Pero still, sobrang goods nung yung matchup eh. Pero to, napatay nila rito si yung TA sa mid lane. Another kill. Nakabawi.
Nice. Actually, bouncing back dito yung LPE. And it's actually this game na nakikita natin sila na makakapag-kill lang na maaga, no? So they're really getting their game and then making sure na may rotations na. Arrow barely misses.
Nabigla ko, bigla may araw na palipad. Medyo,
yung style ni Hero eh.
yung off angle, no? Yung
Yeah.
not visible sa map. Kumbaga yung arrow niya nagagaling sa off map side, sa fog. Which is good din. Kasi you wouldn't anticipate. Tsaka nag-rely ka kung ano yung nakikita mo lang eh. And after arrow, kaso hindi. Nakata talaga yun. Nakasadya talaga sa catapult.
Yep. And Ron feeling as though like kasi pag binak mo yun, ayaw mo ibigay yung easy catapult kay Mirana. Mangyayari doon, ikaw yung papatayin nila. May blood right pa si Rupido dito. So baka you'd be the one paying with your life. And now, kaya makikita natin, SEO being very diligent sa kanilang stacking because nga may Templar Assassin sila.
Sobrang sobrang ganda niya sa tingin eh. Pero the cookie misses. Alright. Hindi patay sana doon yung Mirana. Pero right now, he's actually salving up. So, okay na rin naman. He will survive still.
Yep. Pero I think rotation to coming from
Ember.
Sai on the Ember Spirit. May Arcane Rune siya. So, also level 6 na siya. So, may Remnant siya. Flame Guard is max level.
Full mana pa yan.
Anong gusto mo nang gawin dito?
Yan, naka-ready na. Nope.
Radiant's
Nope. Spotted
middle
sila.
tower is under attack.
Nakita sila dun ni Nando. Kaya si Nando is, just will TP out. Kasi there's no way. There's no vision. So you wouldn't know na nag-TP out na dun yung Troll Warlord on a different lane.
But eto, since umalis yung Ember Spirit sa mid lane, he's been gone for a while. Yung Templar Assassin na
Dire's
dito,
top tower
she's gonna be
is
making
under
use of that
attack.
enemy jungle. Makikita natin. 44 out of 44 ahead of Sai, who's only 32 CS dito sa mid lane. May stacks pa siya to bounce back off. Sai, siguro mahirapan siya konti dito.
Tsaka napatay din siya kanina ng Ember with the help of the support. So parang in a way nakabawi na rin siya in terms of sa CS na nawala siya eh. So parang free hit na rin naman to get to CS yung Ember Spirit sa mid. Pero tower, objective taking na ito lang yung namatahan dito ng ng SEO. They'll just focus on objective pero TP reaction is coming in. Ito si Sai. Searing chain on 2.4 the arrow. It will connect on the troll However, nandito na yung Bloodseeker with a Blood Right and Ben finding up 3 guys. He's currently on sprint. Kaya medyo mabilis sa kanya movement. There goes the Remnant. Bet nandyan. Yung slithering crack. And dito yung Rapture. There's the damage. Nabuhay mga ating El Rubido. Oh no.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Patay yung Ember. 2 cores down
Dire's
for the
top
count
tower
dito
is
sa
under
Eagles.
attack.
Set.
Yeah, they turn it around and while they're taking down 2 cores, si Cox dito, iba yung ginagawa niya. He's gonna take down this mid tier 1 and down for 6 more seconds yung Ember Spirit. Hindi siya makapag-TP.
Radiant's
I think
middle
that of course the tower
tower has
is going to go down. So Cox, pagkatapos niya ma-pressure yung tier 1 tower, diretso siya. Babalik siya sa jungle niya, dun sa triangle niya, kung saan may stacks na nag-aantay sa kanya.
And this is actually bad set. At less than 10 minutes, wala ka ng mid-tier 1 na tower. Yung Roshan, di ba? Yung Roshan control, pero, not no, pero first pa rin siya doon ng Purifying Flames, I'm sorry. Naka-hasten din kasi siya doon eh.
Pero TMB with a solo kill, Position 5 with a solo kill onto the enemy position 1. Pero it doesn't really matter because wala silang magawa para mag-contest ng stacks. You don't really have a lot of physical damage sa side ng LPE at the same, or as of the moment. And at the same time, yung blood right nyo, I don't think you want to commit it or you want to commit multiple uses of that blood right. Eto, sa mga stacks na to. Yung EA will take a little bit of time before she can try to take these. Pero for now, wala pa atang magko-contest masyado.
Yeah, true. Wala gano'ng magko-contest. Pero yun nga yung minimension ko kanina, scary to kasi wala silang tier 1 tower. Yung Roshan, yung access, and knowing that SEO has this kind of lineup, meron silang troll, meron silang starter, corrosive haze, meron silang melt from the TA. So, pandali lang nila mag-Roshan. They can easily take Roshan in a matter of, probably a minute or less than a minute. Advantage ka agad dun eh. That's an, on-point objective dito sa game.
Yeah. Pero I think yung ginagawa dito na SEO, very good. Nag-reprioritize sila. But Arrow, I think, nag-connect sa mid lane. And now,
them again!
What?
Them again! May remnant pa. I think they will just settle for the Oracle. And they will settle for the Oracle indeed. Pero them na naman!
Regeneration.
Grabe yung reaction niya. And that instant stun with the meld, diretso eh. Walang laban yung Mirana. Not even able to leap away.
Man, the damage. Hindi kalahati, sobra kalahati. Natira nila sa kanya, gabuhok eh. After that meld strike.
Grabe yung damage. Ito may kita natin yung sobrang ganda na repriority ng SEO dito, no? Because alam nila na may free lane na si Fox dun sa middle lane. He's taking down his tower, he has the space. Binigay na rin yung ancient flags kay Nando because he needs more gold, he needs more farm to be able to pick up the speed sa kung saan mag-farm yung Juggernaut. Kasi yung Juggernaut dito, going for the Battle Fury. And you don't want your tool to play like that kasi gusto mo mag-online siya na mas mabilis.
Pero,
okay.
So, Battle Fury, para sa Jug, he also wants to skin to man fight din or para makahabol din dito sa troll later on the late game. Pero we haven't seen a good team fight pa sa Eagles right now. Pero Jug still focusing on objectives, pressuring lanes, which is good din naman at the same time.
Dire's top tower is under
Pero yung
attack.
dagger, pwede makuha na maaga ni Bem. Siguro at least 12 or 14 minutes. Meron siyang 800 gold. Hindi siya mamamatay dito. Tuloy-tuloy lang. He will get that early dagger na sobrang kailangan ng team nila to start the fight, to make those initiations. Tandaan nyo, Sleeting Clash, Corrosive Haze, mababash off the deep ka pa, di ba? Mas may melt strike pa yung team. Imagine dalawa yung damage dealer nyo pag blink in. Kawawa yung support dito. I don't even think na makaka-survive ng 2 hits yung Oracle with this kind of combo. Or even the Mirana. Or even the Ember.
Yeah, and actually now I like this play na ginagawa ng LPE. They smoke up and they see the TA in the middle lane but they don't want to go for it. Instead, hinanap nila Pinando. Alam nila na Pinando yung very big priority still here. They didn't try to go for it pero nagpapakata ng OP. Arm there. Right in the place there. Grabe.
He will still fall. However, marat makabalit, nakapag-rend out with a false promise. Oracle na lang kanilang casualty. Actually 2 for 1. Hindi lang na-cancel. Pero maganda sana eh.
Sobrang okay ng ginawa ng LPE dun. Actually, they go for Nando. They realize na yung high priority target nila is most probably dun sa triangle because yung TA nagtitake ng unsafe farm dun sa middle lane. So why go for the TA, no? We can go for a bigger fish. Dun sila kay Nando. And it looked like it was going to work out. Pero because of that arrow dodge, after the rupture, ang nangyari, he was able to still cast his ultimate. Nabuhay pa siya na mas matagal dun. Nakapag-hit pa siya, nakapag-group. He survived for a little bit of damage and then finish up by side. Pero ultimately, you do end up trading your Juggernaut for that din.
Medyo malaking bagay pero bottom lane nakakatob. Ang bilis na ng pakaramdaman na yun. So you will just remnant out. Isa-set up sana nila yung cookie. Tapos melt strike.
We see.
Pero I think yung nangyari doon, he was like, okay, I will remain very, very vigilant. Gagawin ko pagkatapos ng creep wave na to, aalis ako agad.
Pero kung nagstay pa siya doon, oh, at least a second, ibang usapan na yun. Lalo na kung, may setup na ng cookie. So, yung TA doon, nagre-ready na sa 3.
Most definitely. Pero eto, yung ginagawa ng LPE dito, they're just really looking for Nando. They want to pressure him. They want to make sure na as soon as mag-come online na yung ibang cores ng SEO, which is Spider and Troll, they don't want to give them a shot. Kasi yun yung another big advantage na I don't think they want to fight that. Even though may Bloodseeker sila, even though may Ember sila, or may Mirana sila, yung mga mabilis na mag-in-out mga cores, they don't want to give up that objective.
Pero nakuha yung haste rune. At least he was able to get the haste rune. Safe pa rin naman. Pero pa-dagger na dito yung kanilang Slardar for the side of SEO. Pa-dagger na siya.
Getting very close. I think by the time na mag-spawn yung bounty runes, he'll be able to afford yung Blink Dagger na. They might want to look something happen. If mapapansin mo dito, Carbs yung ginagawa ni Rupido, staying very far away from the Rubik all the time. Kahit pag kailangan niya mag-blood right, he's staying very far away from the Rubik. And he's also picking up a point sa kanyang, what do you call this? Sa kanyang Q. Kasi what happens is, if ever napansin ni Rubik, nakita ng Rubik na nagkasya ng blood right, instant high priority spell steal yun eh. He'll force the spell steal out of you. So kaya, staying out of vision until makita niya na nagamit yung spell steal.
Ang dali lang kasi nakawin. Yun lang yung spell na binabato niya, diba? Yung blood ray lang and then yung Q niya.
The twins.
In terms of bounty naman, SEO was able to get 3 bounty runes. Dagger na talaga yung slap na.
Naka-afford mo ng dagger yung Slardar and UTA din. So, they could go for smoke place now. And in fact, yun nga yung ginagawa nila.
Ang ganda ng timing, no? Yung dagger dito ng mga core item. Pero Battle Fury na rin naman yung Juggernaut. Pero I don't think yung Jug is battle ready for the side of Eagles. He needs more farm, he needs more space. SNY yung next build.
Second level sa Omni Slash, guys.
Yes. Tsaka sa tagal ng cooldown yan eh. First level and the damage isn't that great. Kasi ilang bounces lang yung Omni Slash. Nakapag-scan pa. Alam nila, na-ping out sila. Na-scan sila rito sa tree line. O kaya umangat sila kaagad. Which is good din. This will definitely gonna give space sa mga cores nila. Nasayang oras ng SEO. Tapos si Sai naman just keeps on pressuring lanes. Kasi sila lang naman yung pinaka-mobile eh. Diba sa team nila? And, pero may charges of leap to. At dispel lang agad ang Fortune's End. Gigil. Apple, kuha. Hindi na i-cast. Wala ng vision. He was just about to pop the second na corrosive haze. It's way too late. Nag-proc na dun yung MLS ng POTM.
Yep. So now alam nila na wala nang Moonlight Shadow. So they can decide to siguro show up a bit more aggressively on the map. Force fights really. Kasi na-reveal na rin yung dagger dito sa Slardar eh.
Ano next? Yule Scepter. Okay din naman. Added move speed, mana regen, and of course a setup din. Good setup. Para sa sa blood right, in a way. Tapos pwede niya rin ma-dispel yung corrosive haze. Uy, na-blink rin ako! Yun lang,
Si Sai dito getting a little bit of info. And actually, siguro he's feeling a little bit more confident kasi may plate na siya eh. Going for that Shiva's Guard. Kasi nga, masyadong grabe yung armor dito. Speaking of armor,
and false promise na gamit yung dito kaagad. May Rapture pang kasama. He Rapture the TA. And the TA is being ping out. Pero Hero is being caught out. The belt, ay, hindi mo pa destroy yan. And the stolen the Herb na. Straight finishing the effort. And makukuha rin dito yung kanilang Oracle. And he's trying hard to survive. Nabuhay lang dito is yung kanilang Juggernaut. And scores or nil exchange. That will favor the side of SEO.
grabe. Bem went very low pagkatapos ng Omni Slash. Ngayon comes up, pero he still stayed alive.
Man, this was happening, you know, yung past series pa natin. Bem was low but still survived. They were still able to turn around the fight at the same time.
Stellar performance of the Slugger. Oh, the stolen arrow being put to work on the side. Grabe, optimist.
See, that's what I'm telling you guys. Pag wala yung control sa rush pit, wala na kayong tier 1 tower, sobrang dali mag-rushan. And na-mention ko rin kanina, di ba? I mean, wala pang 1 minute, matitake out nila kagad. And the arrow, it will connect, and the first damage, there you go.
They
It's
played that
sealed.
so well.
Nakapuway lang dito ni ni Sai. He's down
And may
again.
DD. May DD si Cox nun. So, like, super quick and easy. Nice lift to the arrow. Siguro tayo na a bit mindful kung ano yung spell na nahawakan ng Rubik nun. Pero, the DD, will be put to work as a tier 2. Gonna get the best in this.
Sealed.
Actually, not too much of a contest. They don't decide to defend it. They don't want to glyph it. Ayaw pa nila yung lumaban. Alam nila, they don't have that false promise. They don't have that omni slash. Medyo mahirap. And wala din silang Ember, of course.
Alam mo sa pakiramdam nun, you just respawn, core ka, you need to farm. Dahil kailangan mo makabawi ito sa loss mo eh. After that death. Tapos pagkakas-respawn mo, di ba, mamamatay ka kaagad. Pero MLS, again here. To check. Oh, Nando. Almost.
Arrow. Almost gets him, pero now, ang ganda na ginagawa ng TA dito. Clearing the creep waves using the traps, no? Naglalagay siya ng sobrang daming traps sa middle lane. And what this does is effectively, mahirapan mag-control ng vision yung Oracle. Because he has to expend resources on sentry wards para ilagay sa lane. Para hindi makapag-cut ng creep waves ng TA with the traps. Kasi, di ba, recently sa mga bawang patches, these traps now do damage pag naka-full charge na sila.
Wala, dyan na si Nando. I-clear lang din yung creep wave nila. So, di ba? Parang hindi rin gano'ng mabalance ng Eagles, yung lane equilibrium. Since gawa nga ng traps ng TA. Pero RK, no, nandito. They're saving it for the Ember. And Ember will battle that. Kailangan niya sa mga team fights or mga skirmishes later on.
Yeah. Ito yung masyado mahirap sa ginagawa niya sa inyo. Since he wants to go for the Shiva's Guard na wala siyang parang farming item, he has a drums, pero why? It's a fighting item for him that can't fight yet. No? Yung mangyayari dito is that it's gonna take a while before he gets that, before he finishes that Shivas. And another Implo pick up from SEO onto Cox.
Ayan na.
Actually, I think they might give it to Nando siguro this time around. Kasi importante naman talaga yung Aquila for Cox. You need to get mana to tumble traps, yung refraction niya, of course, has to keep that up.
BKB na rito si Cox. My God.
20 minutes na amount of farm. Grabe.
Blink, Deso, BKB at this early.
And then Aegis to boot.
Oh my God. Scary to sa sports. Sa Oracle, Mirana, or even yung Ember. Grabe yung damage papers.
Kasi may corrosive haste pa. And let's just say, you know, siswetin lang makapag-pick up siya ng double damage rune again. Alam natin yung luck ni Cox when it comes to yung mga double damage runes.
Samantaling to, no, parang walang pressure, no? Parang gagawin nyo lang dito is secure yung yung farm and levels. Then later on, di ba, pwede na sila mag-group up once he's, feeling confident or ready to join his teammate. Actually, sa mga team fights nga, di ba, sumasama na siya kanina early.
Yeah. I think sa side din dito, medyo nahihirapan na din yung side na LPE to kind of commit onto the troll warlord. Kasi nag-aalala na sila eh. What if, as soon as they commit to the troll, nasa likod lang pala yung buong team. And now they decide to take another side of them. Kung nakita nila na, okay, may kalikit na yung troll, or may kasama na siya on the other side, we can safely take our own objectives without having to trade a life. No?
So, tin-trade off nila tier 1 sa tier 1. Pero wala ng tier 2, and they can even threat the high ground. And here goes the side of SEO. There's a couple heroes TPing back to their base for the Eagles. And look at this man. Sobrang bilis ko lahat nakakad yung hit points ng tower nila dito sa top lane. FLX, they got a hero with a Star Storm, but it doesn't matter. The EA will just burst the easy tower to easy tier 3 tower. And there you go, it's down. And the next creep wave is actually medyo malayo pa. But they need to delay everything. Ooh, nag-miss yung blink sa ring craft. And nandiyan na rin yung raptor. Pero ba't na? I'm pretty fine, boys. Come on, let's just hit the raptor.
He's not moving. Walang nagawa yung raptor sa kanya. There's no way to kind of force him to move. He's gonna hit your rocks. And now, they're just down.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter if tamato lang blood right. It still has the ages. Pero soon to expire. Nakasabi ko lang. There you go. Nag-expire na nga.
So now I think super confident sila. They know that top lane is gonna be a problem for LPE. They just want to make sure that everyone gets out safe. Alam nila walang rupture. In fact, they get really trying to go for a kill dito. Where to go? Hindi na ito trouble. But yes, the trouble will come up. Pero it's not stolen as well. Opportunity. Yes, a bit of William bit of trouble here, pero yung Omni Star, lumabas nga. Nando actually tank most of it, and Prince is in a bit of trouble. PND getting chased down. Range for Nando. And crazy Sai also here is trying to stay alive. DHM, there's not much he can do. The arrow does get dodged out. And Sai actually goes down after a nice little ring crush and a bash on the deep. Pero that's 2 cores down now. Wala na yung Bloodseeker nyo. Wala na yung Ember Spirit nyo. You can look to pressure more. You can look to pressure mid lane, I guess, if you're SEO.
Man, nakita mo ginawa ni Beb doon? He was super low, pinak yung essence ring niya, then he backed out. Then yung ano ba, yung cookie, na-stop din yung Ember, kaya na-stop. Wala na siya nagawa. Oh my God, damage! And even about, they will come in on the total buyback. They really need to defend their draft on the middle lane, or else more trouble for the side of Eagles and the Yules. But where's the follow-up? Nagpapadali yung Junk, pero he doesn't the obvious left. He goes for the Play Fury. Was it a stolen Rupture? Ano? It was used on the TA. You're not a BKB. Oh, Miranda! Kakto yun lang kasi hitting chain. It was almost a great spell. Arrow will also miss. Scatter Blast na dyan din. Yeah, they don't want to commit anything. Tama na. Nakuha nila yung objective. Nakita mo si Bem doon, he will just blink out. Iniwanan niya yung support, which is good na rin on their side.
Yep, but that's 2 supports, no? And you still use 2 buybacks to kill 2 supports. After you lose your top racks, after you lose your mid lane tower, medyo mahirapan talaga kayo nito. And now, your Ember has to play a bit safe. He's also pretty far from that Shiva's guard. Maybe pa natin, he still doesn't have that Mystic Staff, and the recipe is just another hurdle to come across din. Pero, they're just doing the most that they can. Hero, trying to get a lot of it to here. If he gets rooted, he's gonna be in trouble. Forced to use the use.
Pag naroot siya
Nando's
doon,
not stopping. Nando's not stopping.
Yeah, Nando is really confident right now. Feeling confident that no one can actually take him down, especially just a Mirana. Sobrang good sa... Wala eh. Level gap. Sobrang light in terms of items. Yeah, sobrang confident ngayon ng SEO, moving around on the map. Pero Moonlight Shadow being deployed, and I think they want to commit on the fight. Omni Slash is online, Rapture, False Promise. They're ready to go for a big fight here.
Yep, they have all their ults, including MNX, which is ginagamit na nila. But now, it's getting pinned out.
Sans, nag-blink, walang tinamaan. Kaso akin sa pala rito si Beb. Ang yaman ng mga course dito ng ng SEO, even the supports.
Oh, definitely. They're 14k ahead of net worth right now sa LPE. 10 kills ahead, pero it's not the kills that matter right now. You want to take a look at yung net worth lead talaga, because this is just the net worth lead of yung cores combined, no? Their supports are also pretty ahead. In fact, I think yung Rubik and Snapper are actually a lot more farmed siguro than the Mirana or the Bloodseeker. Like the mechanism already on your position side, the Rubik with the either length. And I think may Blink Dagger na rin ka. I'm not so sure about that. Pero like that is a lot of farm on your supports. And, like, this is just it's not like they're even taking priority, you know. They're not even taking priority. It's just leftover farm that you're getting from having the racks down, taking objectives, getting the bounty runes with the map control. So really paying off dividends here for the side of SEO.
Well, let me see here. Juggernaut Wolf gonna go for kaya siya rito. Kaya pa talaga to run. Magkakita mo yung tol against a jug like this. I mean, gap, more items then level gap, what I'm trying to say. Talaga tatakbo ka pala yun, nakita mo Blade Fury out ka agad. You can't afford.
Ikot siya agad din.
Yes, sir. Oh, yung ganda searing chain. Dalawa yung nahuli rito, ha. Pero yun lang, surrounded support. Nandiyan na rin yung Rapture. Kinalit lahat. Kinalit ang Vector sa Cookie. However, it's not enough. Na makamatay dito yung kanilang TA. Naipit si Beth. And Beth, is he gonna survive? I think he will. He will still run. May blink down in a couple of seconds. They need to slide the fish.
He tried to guess. Sai tried to guess that one. He doesn't get it right, pero they do take down the TA. High priority kill, and they don't lose any lives for it. Now, alam nila na nag-respawn yung Roshan, or papa-respawn yung Roshan. In fact, it has already respawned. They might want to take a look at that objective and contest it. Nawala pa yung TA.
Okay. Maski pa paano, that was a big kill. Kailangan ng Eagles yun. To catch up on this game too. Sobrang importante nun guys, tiebreaker. The tiebreaker, whoever wins, second spot, then kakalabanin sa upper bracket match. Yung Signal Ultra Warriors. Grabe, dami nakataya dito.
Aghanims is already up para sa Juggernaut, so there's a lot more damage to be used in these fights. Hindi na siya magre-rely sa Omni Slash na, pero may Swift Slash na rin siya. It's like a mini Omni Slash for those na hindi quite familiar sa Aghanims upgrade na Juggernaut.
Ito mo, maganda yung bodyguard yung Jug para ma-secure lang yung farm. Pero here comes the 5-man smoke. Roshan is up. And they can easily take Roshan. Diba? Sobrang bilis lang yan. Ang corrosive haze mo, Ben. Tingnan mo, Ted. How fast? How
There's no
quick?
time to contest.
No,
There's no time to contest.
What? There seems to be a broken rule 4. Oh, no! What are you doing, man?
Pero wala siyang buyback dito That was a dieback coming from him, and now the rest of his team is going to be in trouble kasi they have to fend off an Aegis and they have to fend off a Cheese at the same time 2 full BKB, but they have to deafen out their Ember Spirit. So that's going to be very difficult. Wala siyang buyback, he couldn't pop a shield with guard, and now his Rakta jungle. In fact, if they get rid of the Jug right now, the Jug doesn't have the buyback. He's still a few gold away from that buyback. So if they get rid of the Jug, mayari dito, they can just go for the 2-4s, they can just go for the jugular and end it. Cheeky play there by Drake.
Yeah, I know.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Stolen Remnant, dito
Radiant's
blink
bottom
out.
tower.
Wow.
Napakabala dito yung type ng LPE.
Pero araw, disconnect. Here comes the bonus na ginamit kaagad. And the damage, medyo makati na rin. However, snatch up that project. And here comes the Swan. With his ultimate, may post practice. They need to make him survive.
Oh, but the cross!
On his head. The glittering cross. And patay yung kanilang jug with a buyback. Merano will buy back at 2v5. And this
Oh,
is
they GG?
They go
Radiant's
GG.
bottom barracks has fallen. The Dire now have Mega.
Ewan ko. Pumasok doon yung Ember kanina. Wait, wala na siyang mana. And there's no way.
I think he hoped that he would still get the Aegis or the Cheese on the ground during the Sleight of Fist. Pero nangyari, Roshan got taken down so fast. Yun yung sabi natin kanina, Cubs. Sobrang bilis. There's no time for LPE to contest it. STIE Olympians here, securing 3 games straight against LPE.
Welcome sa ating post-game show dito sa The Nationals, everyone. Ayan, quick recap lang para sa mga kakanood lang. Happy Feet Emperors got a 2-0 versus Brent ePro. Samantalang itong STIE Olympians nagkaroon ng score tied with the Laos Auto Group Playbook Esports Eagles kasi naka 2-0 sila dun sa series nila kanina, which resulted in a tiebreaker match na kakatapos lang at ang nanalo dyan ay ang STIE Olympians. Ngayon, bago pa tayo magpatuloy sa pag-uusap dito sa mga to, gusto ko muna magpakilala. I am Bea, your panel host for the day, at kasama ko ngayon ang ating napakagiging na cast sa si Seth at si Calbs. But not only that, meron din tayong special guest on the side of the STIE Olympians. Walang iba kundi si Cox. Hello! Hi everyone! Ayan! Diba, congratulations on the win. Cox, excited na excited kaming marinig yung side mo. Kasi syempre, iba pag casters yung naririnig mo, iba pag yung mismo player yung kausap mo, diba? So, unahin na natin dito. Tapos na tayo sa group stages. But the journey is far from over. In fact, may playoffs pa kayo. Napakaganda ng laban nyo since yesterday. At ang una nyong makakalaban ay ang Signal Ultra Warriors. So, natuturingan natin top dog dito sa competition. So, paano ba yung plano nyong preparation sa paglaban sa team na to?
Siguro natagtagan pa namin yung scrim namin kasi kadalasan dalawa lang scrim namin. Ayaw mga decision making na i-improve na namin.
Oh, parang halatang halata naman na yung decision making nyo parang nagbago eh. Curious nga ako kasi baka mamaya parang strategy talaga to ng SEO in the first place na kunyari hindi pa natin natitimpla yung team synergy natin pero ang totoo may pasabog kami, antayin nyo lang. Ayaw lang namin mabasa nyo kami kaagad. Pero speaking of, ano bang meron dito sa STIE Olympians? Napakainit ng team nyo ngayon. Anong meron?
lahat kami nag-grind ng madami. Kaya ganun yung performance namin.
Mhm. Yung grind nyo ba yan, laging sama-sama or parang may kanya-kanyang analyzation sa kanya-kanyang gameplay?
May kanya-kanya po.
Mm. So parang nagre-reflect kayo sa ano kayang
Opo.
mali ko sa gameplay ko, tas paano ko matutulungan yung team, parang ganun yung nangyayari, tama ba?
Opo.
Para sa'yo, throughout the group stages, itong season na to, ano yung biggest learning na nakuha mo dito?
Siguro yung laning phase ko kasi kadalasan medyo nalulugi ako sa mid. Yun yung in-improve ko talaga yung laning phase.
Siyempre, napaka-crucial din naman talaga ng laning phase yan. So, napakaganda na na-improve mo siya ng tuluyan. So, ngayon, bibigyan ko rin ng chance sa'yo ating mga casters na tanungin ka ng question. So, simulan na natin sa'yo, Calbs. Meron ka bang nais na itanong dito sa ating bisita?
Ano lang naman eh. Tanong ko lang sa inyo sa team. 2-0-2-1 sa signal.
2-0 po siguro.
Yan!
Confident!
Love it!
Gusto ko yun! Napakasimple lang pero ang lakas na dating. What about you, Seth? Do you have any questions for Cox?
Nice. Yung tanong ni Calbs, medyo ano naman siya sa team, no? Sa akin, siguro more focus sa individual skills mo, pare. Sa tingin mo, if may gustong mag-improve ng gameplay ng TA, Templar Assassin, ano yung pinaka-importante na thing na dapat niya matutunan? Kasi sobrang stellar ng performance ng Templar Assassin mo sa Nationals, eh. Kaya ang daming gustong siguro malaman kung ano yung pinaka-importante thing na dapat ma-learn as TA.
Siguro yung pagsa-sidelines mo. Yung pagtansya mo ng sidelines. Saka yung paglasit mo. Saka yung positioning.
Ayan guys, take note sa mga tinuturo sa atin ni Cox. So bago pa kita pakawalan ngayon, Cox, baka may gusto kang maibigay na shoutouts dyan. Ito na yung chance mo. Go!
Shoutout sa family ko at sa mga boss namin. Nila Boss Jams, Boss Leo, saka kay Boss Boss. Sa mga klase ko, shoutout sa inyo. Yun lang po.
Ayan, maraming salamat sa oras mo. Maraming salamat rin of course sa mga supporters mo na nanonood dito. We'll see you guys on the playoffs and again, congratulations Cox. We'll see you later on.
Thank you po.
Whew! Alright, Seth. Calbs, ang masasabi ko lang, grabe tong araw na to. Okay pa ba kayo?
Yeah. Okay. Okay na okay. Pwede pa mag-cast na, Seth.
Pwede
Best
pa,
of three.
Gusto pa
Pwede tuloy-tuloy natin
Yung
ang playoffs eh. Playoffs
Okay.
na agad.
Baka kayo ready na kayo mag-cast, pero yung players natin, pagpahingahin nyo naman. Grabe,
Ay, ang
no?
init eh. Ang ganda ng ano. I mean, ang ganda ng mga matches natin today. Sulit na sulit talaga, especially sa mga viewers.
O, imagine mo, nagsimula yung araw natin with the possibility of a three-way tie. Tapos, umabot tayo sa ganitong point. So, let's talk about the first series. Pinakita ng Happy Feet Emperors na hindi nila paaabutin dun sa point na yun na umabot nga tayo sa three-way tie. Tinapos na agad nila versus Bren E-Pro. And pinakita talaga ng HFE na they definitely deserve a spot at our playoffs. So, Seth, gusto kitang tanungin, what do you think the Emperors should continue doing para mas gumaling pa sila sa upcoming playoffs?
I think solidify nila yung newfound na chemistry nila eh. Kasi it's something that's been pushing them through yung mga recent games nila. Not just the last series, pero also the previous or the more recent series din. Kasi it's something that all the teams have been improving on, pero I feel like the teams who are really communicating with each other well, who are making decisions together as five, are proving to be stronger and can rely on each other more when it comes to making these game-breaking decisions. No? So that's something that they should definitely improve on.
Parang panatiliin nila kasi andyan na eh, parang may momentum na yung team nila together. So, just keep it going and you guys will go further. Parang ganun for the Emperors. On the other side naman, Calbs, what should the Happy Feet Emperors be careful of? Ano yung mga mistakes or tendencies na dapat iwasan nila?
Well, yung mga minor errors lang eh. I've been watching or nakapag-cast din ng mga games ng Emperors. They will have a strong start. However, magkakaroon sila ng mga minor lapses, minor errors, wherein hindi na sila nakaka-recover. Once na tinamaan na sila kagad doon, wala na. I mean, nawawala na kagad sila ng kumpiyansa, yung Tagalog na parang ay, okay, parang hindi na natin kaya. Parang gano'n eh. Nakikita mo yung movement ng players all over the map na wala nang kumpiyansa. Kumbaga parang na-hold back sila nun eh. Parang isang mistake lang. Kailangan talaga nilang i-avoid yun. Basta ma-overcome nila yun. And, kaya na sabi ni Seth, pag naging consistent sila, ma-maintain nila yung ganitong klaseng run, amen talaga kung ano yung pwede mangyari sa kanila all throughout these playoffs.
So, ang rule dyan is huwag panghihinaan ng loob. Dapat puso lang kung puso. Give everything you've got with the game kahit pa nagkakamali kayo, no? Marami pa kasing pwedeng mangyari eh. So, moving on to our second series. Isa pa to. Crucial rin tong laban na to. Kasi dito natin malalaman kung ano yung magiging seedings nung match-up natin for the playoffs. Saka, unfortunately, dito natin na-reveal na itong ang SMO ay hindi makakasama sa ating playoffs. Well, gano'n naman talaga yung tournament, diba? Mangyayari talaga yon. And sa sobrang intense na mga kaganapan dito sa ating standings, umabot pa nga tayo sa tiebreaker. So, pag-usapan natin yung series una. Nakita natin sa first game pa lang, very active na itong STIE Olympians, no? So, Calbs, ano sa tingin mo yung dapat ginawa ng LPE para maikot pa yung laban na yon?
Ano rin kasi, ang sobrang gandang start nila, lalo ng Game 1. They have this combo, yung Lina at saka yung Mars. It proves that superior yung lane nila na yun. They have the combo to take kills easily. However, pagdating nga lang ng mid-game, nangyayari kasi, nahirapan na sila makontinue yung aggression. Well, hanggang sa nag-fade out na-outplayed na sila kagad dito ng SEO. Yun lang talaga, nakulangan lang talaga ako eh. I mean, konting push pa. They need to push it further. Pero okay lang yan. Hindi pa rin naman tapos. They're still gonna be playing on the playoffs. So, makakabawi pa sila definitely.
Yan, playoffs nga naman. Hindi pa tapos yung laban. May chance pa bumawi. May chance pa matuto. Pwede pang bumawi. And for you, Seth, since nakita na natin na well-adjusted na itong STIE Olympians, ano naman sa tingin mo yung dapat bantayan ng other teams when going up against the E-Olympians in the playoffs?
I think sobrang obvious man yun, bantayan ng other teams eh. Hindi nyo bantayan si Bem and of course si Cox. Hindi lang si Nando yung dapat tinitingnan nyo. Because like of course, yung mga heroes nila, Slardar, Templar Assassin. Yung Templar Assassin ni Cox right now, wala pa siyang talo. So that's something that other teams have to look out for.
Nako, baka magulat na lang tayo. Binaban na to si Templar Assassin, no? Expected na nila. Tapos, ito namang si Bem, napakaganda ng performance today, di ba? Kitang-kita naman natin. So, talaga, tama ka dyan. Dapat keep your eyes on them. Was there any interesting play that you guys saw today that you would like to talk about before we end the show? Seth, ikaw na mauna. Baka lang may maalala ka. Pero if wala, okay lang din naman.
I mean, if anything, if anyone wants to learn how to play offlane, or if anyone wants to siguro perform in the offlane role, I suggest wait for the highlights to come out for the matches today and then take a look at Bem's highlights.
Ooh, parang excited ako mapanood nga yan. Ikaw, Calbs.
Well, to be honest, sobrang amazing ng performance talaga ng SEO. So, same with Seth. Hintayin na yung highlights. Ang daming highlights dito sa game. Especially yung game 2 and yung tiebreaker. Guys, I highly recommend watch the highlights.
Parang napaka-interesting nga naman talaga ng highlights sa masusubaybayan natin. So, kung bago lang kayo dito, ano pang hinihintay nyo, mag-follow na rin kayo dito sa Facebook page ng The Nationals para makita tong pinag-uusapan na highlights at hindi kayo mahuli sa balita. So, maraming salamat, Seth and Calbs. We'll be seeing you guys at the playoffs. Paghandaan nyo yan kasi mainit na init yung mga labanan na mangyayari doon. Pero for now, this has been Like Amea, your panel host, and we'll see you guys next time.